Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Bhagavad-gītā. Today we'll be studying chapter 9, texts 30 and 31. Lightning Fast, Purification by Krishna Consciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So, after a long time, we're resuming these classes. We've been overseas all this while, and before that, there was the book distribution marathon. So, after about almost 2 or 3 months, we're having a class again. All right, so we'll quickly dive into the topic. 9:30 and 31. Bhagavad-gītā chapter 9, text 30. अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि सः। Api, even, chet, if, suduracharah, one committing the most abominable actions, bhajate, is engaged in devotional service, mam, unto me, ananyabhak, without deviation, sadhu, a saint, eva, certainly, saha, he, mantavyah, is to be considered, samyak, completely, vyavasitaha, situated in determination, he, certainly, saha, he. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. So this is quite a controversial topic, isn't it? But also at the same time, it's the most encouraging topic because all of us have committed so many sins this life, previous lives, you know. So how to get rid of all this? That's why today's topic is lightning fast purification by Krishna consciousness. So let's read the purport. Very important. This and the next verse both together. Purport. The word Suduracharaha used in this verse is very significant and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has two kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities even for the devotees in connection with the conditional life. Now, let us understand, for those who are new here, what is conditional and what is constitutional. So, conditional means, for example, now, constitutional, for example, let's start with constitutional. Constitutional means the original activity of the soul, something which is original, constitutional. So, by constitution, of course, we know the constitution book of any country, law book. Similarly, in our original constitution, lawfully, we are actually servants of Krishna. Jiver Swarup hoy, Krishner Nitya Das. So we are eternally servant of Krishna. That is our constitutional position, original position. Now, in the Vaikuntha, spiritual world, everyone acts on that principle in the constitutional way. And there they don't have material bodies, they have spiritual bodies, Sachidananda Vigraha. So they have a body which is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss, just like Krishna does. There, they don't have to undergo material conditions of birth, death, old age, and disease. Here we are limited by conditions. We can live in this body only for a certain period of time. Even in that limited period of time, we can experience only a limited perception of reality. Our senses are limited, our access to knowledge is limited, everything is limited here. So when we are living under certain conditions, the constitutionally, originally, the soul is free. He can go anywhere he wants. But because we are imprisoned in this material world, in this particular body, because of our crime of neglecting Krishna, neglecting to serve him, and therefore we are actually given a chance in this material world to fulfill that perverted desire of trying to become the Lord. So Krishna gives us the chance to become the Lord, and he gives everyone the chance to become the Lord. But it is not that the Lord actually wants to punish us. In fact, he gives us the chance to, act on our perverted desire. But it is our nature, our constitutional nature, that we just cannot be happy in that way. We are like a fish out of the water. We are the fish who asked the Lord, or rather, we wanted to try what was on land. We wanted to explore the land. And okay, Krishna says, actually, Krishna doesn't like it because we will suffer. As a father, he is concerned for us. So he actually does not want to let us go. But we have been persistent. So, all right, you really want to explore the land? Okay, go out. Since you asked for it. So he mercifully gives it to us. But as you know, the fish can't be happy on land. But who is responsible for that suffering of the fish? The fish itself, who wanted to go on land and explore it. So similarly, we are in a foreign atmosphere. We are not supposed to be here. And that is the reason why we are unhappy. It's not that the Lord, oh, don't want to serve me? Okay, you suffer. That's not what the Lord wants to do. Even though we had this perverted desire of not wanting to serve him, he wanted to give us the facility for doing so. But it's just our nature. We just can't stay without serving the Lord, or we can't be happy without the Lord. So, here in this material world, we suffer. Here, we are put under certain conditions. According to how much I interfere with another soul's or other soul's independence, that much I am restricted in my movement. Just like in this society, Everyone is free to act and pursue their dreams, their goals, their education, their business, or whatever. So one has a lot of options. But when one becomes a criminal, the extent to which his criminality deepens, that much he is restricted by the government. Suppose he is, like a, say, terrorist. Oh, heavy punishment and heavy restriction, solitary confinement, all that things. And if he is, pickpocket, I mean, it's still a crime, not an extremely serious crime as terrorism. Or if he is, some small crime like that. Smaller crime. Nothing is small. Crime is a crime. Smaller crimes than such extreme crime, then he is punished accordingly. Maybe 6 months of jail, or $10,000 fine, or whatever like that. So accordingly, he is restricted. Or sometimes it's not even a prison; it's just house arrest. He can be in his house, but he's arrested. So he has to live under certain conditions. So this is the difference between constitutional life and conditioned life. And in this material world, in this present body, due to the baggage of our previous karmic reactions, we are now inhabiting a body, with its which comes with its natural constraints. So that conditioned life, in order to maintain that conditional life, we have to act in a certain way. Like we have to sleep, for example, to maintain this body. We have to eat. We have to mate. We have to defend ourselves. So these are the natural um, necessities of the body to maintain this body. Yeah. Of course, as one progresses spiritually, the necessities, go down to the point of nil when he's perfect. Um, but as far as we are here, we are not yet to the stage of pure devotion. We still have to act in relation with this body. So as long as we are in this body, we have two kinds of activities. That is what is referred to here in this, on the screen. If you look at it, when a living entity is conditioned, that means when he's in this material world, he has two kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. Now, let's examine this. Today, the way the society, the civilization is, human beings, and there is a nice verse in the Shastra. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanyametat pashubhir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhir samana. It's a very easy verse to understand. Ahara nidra bhaya maithuna. Eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. These four activities, this range of activities, is called conditional activities. And this is common to samanya metat pashubhir naranam. Naranam means humans and pashubhir means animals. Animals and humans both have this set of activities, this range. But one thing that the human beings have that the animals do not have is dharma. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. So the special thing that we have as human beings is dharma. Dharmena hina pashubhe samana. Easy to understand. If we don't have dharma in our life, then our life is as good as animals, because we will be just executing these range of activities. This range. What is that? Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna. If you see our modern civilization, it is geared towards this. Everyone is, working so hard from morning to night, traveling 2-3 hours. I just came back from India, in Delhi. Oh, we were in one place in south of Delhi, and when devotees wanted to come and meet, they're all in Delhi. But when they wanted to come and meet us, it took 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 1.5 hours. And it's not just a simple straight journey. They have to take a bike taxi to the train station, take a train, change 3 trains, and then get down the train station, take another bike, and then walk. In this way, it's like they have to change almost like 6, 7 vehicles before they can reach the place that we were in. Just imagine, I mean, if they're going to work and if they're not staying nearby their work, or if they have their family, their children are studying in one place, they are working in one place, the husband works in one place, the wife works in one place. Just imagine the amount of fatigue you will have by the end of the day. Just for what? To find food on the plate. To have food on the plate, you have to work so hard. And that is called Ugra Karma. In Kali Yuga, this will become very prominent. Ugra Karma means very hard labor for paltry results. Previously, people used to have a piece of land and they used to have a house in it, on the land. And then they will just come out the door and then they'll, have their field there and they will cultivate their, the produce. And then they have barter system, they will exchange, and this way they have their food. Their workplace and their, house is just all in the same place. And they have cows there. And that was the economic problem solved. But now we think we are very advanced with modern transport systems and all this, just so that we can travel very far and work somewhere and travel back all the way to home. And this we think is advancement. In the end, what is happening is that we are being sapped out of our energy and our time in this human life. With every day passing, a day is lost and it's never going to come back. Ayur harati vaipumsam udyannastan chayannasau tasyarte yat kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. See, both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. So the rising and setting of the sun is decreasing everyone's lifetime, but why doesn't it decrease the lifetime of those who hear about Kṛṣṇa? Right? Sun is setting for you also, right? You may ask. The thing is, by the sun setting, we are losing our time, definitely everyone, right? But the devotee who engages his time in devotional service to Kṛṣṇa, he is exchanging that temporary time for his eternal Sanatana Dharma. That's why it's called Sanatan. It's called Sanatan because we are Sanatan. Soul is Sanatan, eternal. Kṛṣṇa is Sanatan. The Supreme Lord is eternal. And the transaction or the interaction or the relationship between us and Kṛṣṇa is also eternal, Sanatan Dharma. And the execution of that is Dharma. So this Sanatan, living entity, serving the eternal or Sanatan Lord in the eternal Sanatan abode, or even if you are not there, to go there. And that the relationship, when one actually acts in that relationship, that is called Sanatana Dharma. That is Sanatan Dharma. So when one engages in Sanatan Dharma, he is exchanging that temporary time for eternal activity. And therefore, he is building up a life in his next life, because every action of ours in this life is building a set of circumstances for our next life. Whatever circumstances we are currently going through are created by our set of actions in the previous and previous many lives. And now we are experiencing the results, the consequences of those actions in the form of Shani Mahadasha or it can be Guru Mahadasha. Anything. I mean, sometimes happiness, sometimes sadness, sometimes pain, absolute physical pain, sometimes mental pains, or sometimes just delirium and whatever. All those circumstances which we go through are because of our previous actions, and whatever we do now is going to have its bearing on our next life. So both by rising and by setting, it is said here, rising and setting, what is happening? The time is going. We are enjoying, oh, that's a beautiful sunrise, that's a beautiful sunset. oh, today was a nice day, or today was a bad day. All are distractions. All are distractions because we're losing time. Of course, we can always appreciate such, sunrise, sunset as creations of the Lord, and that remembrance of the Lord is actually devotional service. The Lord has painted the sky so beautiful. So that is devotional service, to think of the Lord. But if we just enjoy it, not linking that experience with Krishna, then we are missing the point. Then we are wasting. We are, so everyone in this material world, they are engaging in this way. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunam, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And that's how we are losing our time. Whereas the devotee who discusses this, he does not lose his time. He is exchanging the temporary time for eternal time. Because next life, he is going to have eternal life. Whereas the person who is a materialist, he is going to just have another set of lives. I mean, many thousands or millions of lifetimes that he has to undergo the consequences of his current actions. So, for example, for one chicken biryani dinner, okay, one chicken biryani, how long does it take for you to eat a chicken biryani? Maybe, 20 minutes, half an hour. Okay. For that half an hour of activity, he has to take birth as a chicken and, grow up maybe in a slaughterhouse, poultry farm, and then be slaughtered, and then, you know maybe even before being slaughtered, have eggs taken out, and then slaughtered and eaten. So you have to spend at least, a few weeks, or I don't know how long a chicken takes to grow and be slaughtered. So you have to go through that for half an hour's activity in this life. Imagine how many times people are eating all kinds of things. That many times they have to take birth, and they have to spend that time. If one eats beef, one has to become a cow and then sent to the slaughterhouse and being slaughtered. So in this way, one has to undergo all these reactions. So just imagine, I mean, a short amount of time, and how much consequence, how much pain, and how many times we have to undergo that. So in this way, it decreases. Therefore, it decreases for everyone except for the devotees. So these statements, when used like that, this is not simply, oh, devotees don't lose time. Only for the materialist the sun sets, for the devotee it doesn't set. What is this? This is nonsense. No, it is not. It is very, very meaningful. So we should not just jump and say, oh, this is all nonsense. We should be more mature when we are approaching such literature. Okay? If something appears or sounds, you know, it doesn't sound right to us from the Shastra, that means we are not right, not the Shastra. Shastra has no mistake. Vedo Narayana Sakshat. The Veda is Narayana Sakshat. This is the words of Narayana, and they're non-different from Narayana, and they're as perfect as Narayana. So Vedo Narayana Sakshat. So when Shastric statements, like Vedic statements, appear or sound crazy to us, that means we are crazy. The extent to which those statements appear crazy to us, that is the extent of our craziness, not of the Shastra, not of Narayana. We are crazy. Yeah? That is the way to approach. And therefore, when we struggle to grapple with the, with the concepts mentioned in our books, we should become submissive. Okay, something I'm not understanding here. I should seek that understanding rather than just, you know, challenge like a monkey or a dog, just bark and challenge. That's not the way. Because when I challenge, it's coming out of a place of vanity, too much hubris, pride in my own judgment or my own intellectual capacity, because of which I think that is ridiculous. That statement is ridiculous. So, in the end, I will be ridiculed. Yamaraj will ridicule me. and he will laugh. He will have a good laugh by putting us in Kumbhipaka. That is what is going to happen. So the one who has the last laugh has the best laugh, right? That's the saying, right? So we should know. So going back, so when a living entity is conditioned, he has two kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As we have just gone through, our modern civilization is built in such a way that we have to work hard to maintain eating, sleeping also, we hardly sleep, and then with so many, disturbed by so many anxieties, and then eating, sleeping, mating. People are hardly, having a stable married life. They are having all kinds of relationships, homosexual now, and even heterosexual. They're having everything. Then nothing is stable. No children. No, they are doing contraceptives, abortions. It is another whole set of sin on its own. You know, people are doing now. So, and then fearing, bhaya. People, we are proud of our security systems sometimes. Oh, this is very advanced security system. This and that. That means we are becoming more and more immoral. The population as a whole is becoming more and more immoral, and that's why we need those security systems to secure our whatever belongings. Previously, of course, there were still fortresses and everything, but in Satya Yuga, there were no such things. There was no need for such things. But as time goes on, and especially in Kali Yuga, all irreligious, so these things. So the more it becomes fearful, and any time there can be a war, a nuclear war, a world war, at all levels, at society levels. I mean, I just got some news that there was some in India. The parliament was, there was some tear gas was, you know, went off in parliament in India. I mean, fear, bhaya. So all kinds of things. It's just increasing, and not only of some some kind of elements, antisocial elements or whatever, but even, I mean, let's take transport. How many accidents happen? Anything can happen. Padam padam yad vipadam. Every step in this material world is a danger. So we are so much embroiled right now with these conditional activities only, and we have no time for constitutional activity. To inquire, who am I? Where did I come from? Where do I go after death? Why do I even die? Is there a God? Who created this universe? Who created me? Huh? Where do I fit? Where, I mean, what is my duty? Uh, so, I mean, there are so many questions relating to this. It's called Brahma Jignasa. Brahma Jignasa means spiritual inquiry. So, we have to inquire these things, and we have to find answers. And after finding answers, we have to act on that principle. Okay, now I have the answer. Okay, now I have to mold my life and act in that um, platform of knowledge. Now my whole range of activities is in the platform of ignorance. I think I am this body. I think I am this nationality. I think I am this race or gender or whatever. And accordingly, I act now. But if I'm not any of these things, then if I'm soul, then what am I supposed to do with my life? Hmm. So then we know, oh, okay, so I'm a soul. Okay, so now I have to act on the platform of the soul. But I just can't act only on the platform of the soul while I'm in this body. I still have to cater to the needs of this body because I asked for it. It's a bad bargain. I bargained and got this body. How did I bargain? Because of my activities in my previous life. I asked for it. This body is because of my doings, my actions. So it's a bad bargain. I bargained for it. But to make the best use of the bad bargain, whatever we have, to make the best use of it, that is intelligence. So I have to maintain my, body, just like, you have a car. You have to maintain your car, but don't spend a whole life maintaining your car. You have to use that car to go out and do work. So similarly, we should not have our whole life spent in just maintaining this body. That's a waste of a life. But that's what we are taught. You know, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. This is all the range of activities that everyone does. And that's just maintaining the body. But what are you going to do with this body? What is the body meant for? We're not even inquiring in that direction. So, as human beings, we no need to be just we don't need to tie ourselves to just conditional activities. We have to start introducing constitutional activity in our life. The everything is 100%, right? So how much percentage is conditional activity and how much percentage is constitutional activity? That determines that ratio of constitutional over conditional activity determines the advancement of our spiritual life. So how much we are engaging in our constitutional activity in this world. And that's why our Vedic culture is not meant for, you know, um, unbridled sense gratification, because then you're just filling your life with conditional activity. Just maintain, increase the necessities, so-called artificial necessities. Oh, I need a television, I need Netflix subscription, I need this, I need that. Why do you need that? You don't die if you don't have Netflix. But we think we die. Oh, I can't live without Netflix. So these are artificial necessities, and to maintain them, you have to work hard, And then you have to, whatever free time you have, you spend that time wastefully by watching or doing something which is meaningless again. So this is what happens with ignorance. It's a snowballing of ignorance. So Vedic culture is to reduce anartha nivritti. Anartha. Artha means goal of life. Um, Purushartha. What is that? Chaturtha Purushartha. Chatur Purushartha. Then there is Panchama Purushartha, which is love of Godhead. But Anartha means something which is completely a distraction from our Artha is Anartha. Unwanted, unnecessary things. So Vedic culture is to reduce the unnecessary things. Therefore, if you follow Bhagavad-gītā, there is no such thing as overpopulation or over, um, you know, what is that? Congestion or a scarcity of resources. There is scarcity because some people are just unnecessarily hoarding too much. कामस्य नेन्द्रिय प्रीतिर लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्व जिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः. What is that? Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So we have to have enough for us to just maintain ourselves. Don't be carried away by Forbes 30 list, Forbes 100 list, Forbes 500 list, or the most successful businessmen, they have made millions and billions and trillions of dollars. Don't be carried away by that. That is not success. That is an extreme failure, because those people have amassed so much wealth and they have to worry so much now to keep their wealth for themselves and their generations down, that they have nothing else, no time left for spiritual realization. They have, like a silkworm, made a cocoon for themselves in which they are now trapped. And there's actually a verse for that. Um, Let me take it out. Yeah, is this the one? No. Towards the next one. Yeah, this is the one. देह्यज्ञोजित षड्वर्गो नेच्छन् कर्माणि कार्यते कोशकार इवात्मानं कर्मणाच्छाद्य मुह्यति. Koshakara means the silkworm. See, Koshakara, the silkworm. What is that? Foolish embodied living entity, inept at controlling his senses. That means he is not good at controlling his senses, completely horrible at doing it. Inept is the opposite of adept. The foolish embodied living entity, inept at controlling his senses and mind, is forced to act according to the influence of the modes of material nature against his desires. Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. We are forced to act according to the influence of these three guna. He is like a silkworm that uses its own saliva to create a cocoon and then becomes trapped in it with no possibility of getting out. The living entity traps himself in a network of his own fruitive activities and then can find no way to release himself. Thus, he is always bewildered and repeatedly he dies. You know, when one has too much wealth, too much of anything, then this is what happens. Wait. 1192. Okay, you see here. Samisham kuraram jagnur balinonye niramishaha tadamisham parityajya sasukham samavindata. Once, a group of large hawks who were unable to find any prey attacked another weaker hawk who was holding some meat. At that time, being in danger of his life, the hawk gave up his meat and experienced actual happiness. What is happening here? So, a hawk was flying, a weaker hawk, found some meat, and he, took it with his claws, and he was flying, and he attracted the attention of all other hawks, vultures, eagles. Oh wow, there is meat there, and we are not getting anything. How come this hawk has such a big piece of meat? So they wanted to close in on the hawk and get some share of the meat, and they will be fight, right? So with that heavy meat, he could not fly as fast as the other hawks, who other birds who were coming towards him. And at one point, when he was when he was surrounded by all these birds, what he did, he just left that meat, and then he flew, and suddenly no one was after him. Oh wow, he was happy. All that anxiety he got because he was holding on to that attachment, and because he was holding on to that, there were other envious people who are also coming for him for that. So rich people, when they have so much, they have to have this anxiety of so many people trying to attack them from all directions, and they are overtaken by fear. So they can't be happy. But when the hawk gave up, that renunciation, you know gave him happiness. You see. So this renunciation, when we renounce our false sense of proprietorship, it's actually not renunciation. We're just giving up the false idea that I'm the proprietor of something. I was never the proprietor of anything. I am never the proprietor, I will never be. But when I think I am, that's when the problem starts. So renunciation is not a huge sacrifice. It's giving up of foolishness, rascaldom. If I come to your house and I take, say, say a car, I take your car, you will call me a thief and you will call the police on me. But when I say that, you know what, I renounce this car, I will give it. I don't want this car. I renounced. That's not a sacrifice. That's at least admitting that you were a thief until now, and then now you're at least becoming a little bit honest. That's all. That's not a huge sacrifice. So therefore, this fever of acquiring or the sense of proprietorship, false sense of proprietorship that we have over things, so that has to reduce. The more we reduce that, the more we will be peaceful. And therefore, there is no need of extra hoarding of everything. One just have to have enough for himself. And if everybody operates on the principle of need and not greed, there is enough, more than enough in this world. That's why there is a saying: there is enough for a man's need, but not for man's greed. So because of greediness, we feel scarcity, not because, oh, we need to colonize other planets now. One Earth is not sufficient. Now we have to go to other planets and see if human civilization can be preserved by multi-planetary, um, you know, what is it? Occupation. Uh, crap, crap. We can't even live there. First of all, here we can comfortably live if we follow this principle of kamasya nendriya preetir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa. So minimize material conditional life of maintaining this body and fill the rest. Now the problem is there is no higher aim in life. So they want to fill their entire life. If they just have, bare minimum, what are they going to do with the rest of their life? They want activity. Even now, people when they become old, or they want to work somewhere, they want to do something, they want to, because they want to do something. Their life is a void now. Oh, all this while I have worked and now I have nothing to do. I'm retired. So I want to do something. I'll just create some activity for myself and do something. But if they know that actually they have to spend their life in spiritual, what is that, enlightenment, then it will be very full of life, in fact. You see? But because of a lack of understanding of what to do with life, they fill their life with other childish material activities again. So that's why this education is necessary, so that people realize, okay, this is not actually life. Life is actually my eternal life. I should go back to that. And there, actually, life is not. It's fulfilling because we connect ourselves to our original nature. So, going back all the way to the purport again, one is conditional, and other is constitutional. So, these two are a range of activities, kinds of activities. Okay. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities, even for the devotees, in connection with the conditional life. And such activities are called conditional. Besides these, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of the Lord has activities which are called transcendental or constitutional. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service in relation to the body will parallel one another. But then again, sometimes these activities become opposed to one another. Give an example. Now, it is part of mundane morality in the material world. The principle of morality dictates us to respect our elders or parents, for example. Um, that is a correct thing to do, right? So that is part of mundane morality, or it is part of our conditioned life. But our constitutional life dictates that we have to become a devotee of Krishna. So now, if the parent is supporting that decision, or rather, actually, the parent is supposed to teach the child about Krishna consciousness, then the son being obedient to the father is in line with not only the conditional activity of the morality of respecting one's parents, but also it's conducive to our spiritual life, because to serve a devotee is actually conducive to spiritual life, right? So his constitutional and conditional activity are parallel to one another, or they are in the same direction. But sometimes, like Prahlad Maharaj, he is a great devotee. His father was a great atheist. Now, his father did not like his son chanting the name of Krishna. he wanted his son, Hiranyakashipu wanted Prahlad to stop chanting Krishna's name. But Prahlad Maharaj disobeyed. Now, disobedience is not the correct thing to do, according to principle of morality. But that conditional activity is contradictory to his constitutional activity. At that time, he should give preference to the constitutional activity because that is a real relationship. Whereas this relationship of the body is temporary. You see? So one should always give preference to our eternal relation, our eternal constitutional position, and try to avoid conflicts by unnecessarily by avoiding such unnecessary situations where we have to deal with people who oppose such things. So therefore we have to be in association of devotees and avoid the company of non-devotees, not invite such um, distractions into our life. So one has to conduct himself carefully like that. So sometimes his conditional activity is parallel to the constitutional activity, and sometimes it is not. So that's one example. I mean, there can be innumerable examples like this. So as far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disrupt his wholesome condition. So that's why he avoids. Not that he hates someone. No, he just wants to mind his business and help those who he can help and avoid those who distract him. That's it. Or those who are a waste of our investment of time. They're just envious. They're just not productive. One might as well use time in you know our furthering of our Krishna consciousness rather than having an unnecessary fight with people who oppose such things. So that's why one has to conduct himself cautiously so that he doesn't lose his balance of judgment and always um, is fixed in what he should be doing in life. Yeah. He knows that perfection in his activities depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically. Sometimes it is not abominable act. Sometimes it may be. Like for example, when devotees they join the Krishna consciousness movement, the parents, relatives, friends they try to oppose that. Hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that. You should be more responsible. You should earn something, and all these things. The parents become very involved, and then they become very emotional about it. Now, it looks bad, right? For the outside people, it looks bad. Oh, this person ran away from the family. What is this? This is irresponsible. This organization is taking people, from the children from their parents, this, that, this. So, it's all like a controversy. It looks abominable. Oh, this is criminal. This is not, it looks all bad. But there's nothing bad in that. Absolutely nothing bad in that. In fact, the entire society is bad because they don't understand this. Even Lord Ramachandra had to be separated from Dasharath and go to Gurukul. Krishna went to Gurukul. I mean, they did not have to go, but they showed by example. That has been our tradition, that has been our culture, that is the way of life. But now people are so accustomed to a completely materialistic, stupid life, animal life, that if somebody is actually following the ways of real human life, as enjoined in the Vedas, one is censured, one is reprimanded, one is ridiculed, one is shamed. There is nothing wrong with the devotee who is surrendering to Krishna. but the world goes against him. And in a sense, that is a test for him to see whether how serious he is. And therefore, there are some couple of nice verses. Let me see if I can pull those out. Yeah, this is from Mukundamala Stotra. यजन्तु बान्धवाः सर्वे निन्दन्तु गुरवो जनाः तथापि परमानन्दो गोविन्दो मम जीवनम्. Let my relatives all abandon me and my superiors condemn me. Still, the supremely blissful Govinda remains my life and soul. To encourage devotees who may be facing these circumstances, Kulashekar Alvar, he wrote these verses. चित्तं नैव निवर्तते क्षणमपि श्रीकृष्णपादाम्बुजान् निन्दन्तु प्रियबान्धवा गुरुजना गृह्णन्तु मुञ्चन्तु वा दुर्वादं परिघोषयन्तु मनुजा वंशे कलङ्कोऽस्तु वा तादृक्प्रेमधरानुरागमधुना मत्तायमानं तु मे. My mind cannot turn from Sri Krishna's lotus feet even for a moment. So let my dear ones and other relatives criticize me, my superiors accept or reject me as they like, the common people spread evil gossip about me, and my family's reputation be sullied. Let whatever has to happen happen. Let everything go against me. For a madman like me, it is honor enough to feel this flood of love of Godhead, which brings such sweet emotions of attraction for my Lord. So this is what a devotee cares about, the happiness of Krishna. And when Krishna is happy, he's just happy. He doesn't care if the entire world goes against him. In fact, one Christian saint, he said, if the world stands against the truth, then I stand against the world. And that's how convinced we must be. In the face of adversity, if one stands for the truth, that is bravery. So bravery is not, it comes out of affection. Like when one dies for a country, freedom fighters are, glorified for their bravery. Why did they give their life for the country? Because of their love for the country. Of course, there is a imperfect way of, imperfect. It's not complete, because love for my country involves hate for another. When I say my country is the best, I'm obviously saying that the other countries are not as good as me. So there is envy involved. So, but one loves Krishna, who is the owner of all countries, all planets, the entire universe, all universes put together. Then one's love is complete. And then, just like a person dies for a country, a devotee is prepared to die for Krishna. So for him, even dying for Krishna a million times, he's ready. So what is just this, lack of reputation? He loses his reputation among the people, or people criticize him. He doesn't care a fig for that. He doesn't care a fig for that. So, and that's how he tolerates. He tolerates because it's not a big deal for him. That's a small price to pay for me to go to Krishna. So he just takes it like that. If my reputation has to go down, if I have to be ridiculed, so be it. That is a price I'm gladly willing to pay to go to Krishna. So that's how a devotee thinks. He's not in a rush to satisfy the world. In fact, he's never even willing to satisfy the world. He's just inclined how to satisfy Krishna. And if the world is unhappy with that, so be it. So be it. So that's his attitude. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what the world thinks. Because what is the value of their opinion anyway? But If there are some people who are willing to listen, to understand, then he will gladly spend his time explaining to them, and preaching to them and convincing them as well. But if they're not interested, if they just want to be envious, if they just want to give trouble, okay, have your way. So he chooses which battles to fight. He would rather choose the battle against Maya and remain in Krishna consciousness. That is the battle he is willing to fight. And for preaching, he will, go to any extent. But to waste time with people who are anyway, ignorant, and not just ignorant, envious, just arguing for arguing's sake, it doesn't waste his time. Because by spending time with such persons, that person will only engage in more offense towards Krishna and towards devotees, towards the whole devotional process. He'll become more offensive to that because he's not ready to, understand. But if he is ready to understand, yes, the devotee will spend time. So, anyway, coming back to the point. So, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically. Another example of this, I'll tell you. In 1970s, when Prabhupada's movement was, growing like a wildfire, many devotees in many countries were being arrested and put in jail. Now, going to jail is not a good thing, right? It's not a good thing. Uh, that's the last place you want to be, a prison. But what they were put in jail for? Because they were distributing books on the street. And somehow the police thought it was a nuisance and then they put them in jail. And then after 2-3 days, they're out of the lockup or whatever it is. And in USSR, at that time, heavily communist, devotees were tortured in concentration camps. All kinds of mental torture, physical torture they went through. There is a book called The Salted Bread, which contains the descriptions of all those things that the devotees went through in USSR before Russia and all the balkanization of Russia happened. Insane amounts of torture. Now, a normal person in that society who has not gone to such concentration camp, for him, like, why are you doing this thing to yourself? You are being tortured like this. Just be a normal person. No, don't go into that. That's giving you a lot of trouble. You're seen as a criminal now by the state and all that. So sometimes the state may even see the devotees as criminal because they don't understand the mission of the devotees. They don't understand, and they consider them criminals. But still, the devotee is tolerant. Titikshavaha karunikaha. He tolerates all that. Even though he's doing the right thing, whole world will say he's wrong because the world is wrong. I think there is a saying, it is a folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss, something like that. So, it's a folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. So, that's the thing. So, an actual self-realized person is condemned in a society of fools. So, um, he may look abominable to the people, but he doesn't care for their opinion. He doesn't care for the opinion of fools. He cares for the opinion of Krishna and the authoritative acharyas. Yes, he cares for their opinion. So sometimes it may appear abominable, and sometimes it actually may be abominable. He did something wrong, in fact. So let's see. If we go up a little bit, he knows that perfection in his activities depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically, but such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. Now, here it is the subject is not a seemingly wrong act, which is not wrong. Here, when he actually performs something wrong, what if a devotee, out of his immaturity when he's still becoming, devotee, but he is surrendered to Krishna, but then he slips and does something wrong. That is what is being referred to here. But such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. Now, let me take you to that verse. Beautiful verse. स्वपादमूलं भजतः प्रियस्य त्यक्तान्यभावस्य हरिः परेशः विकर्म यच्चोत्पतितं कथञ्चिद् धुनोति सर्वं हृदि सन्निविष्टः. धुनोति सर्वं. One who has thus given up all other engagements and has taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very dear to the Lord. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul accidentally commits some sinful activity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction to such sin. This is a special facility, privilege given to the devotee. You know, ordinary people don't have this privilege. Devotee has. Ordinary people, they have to go through their karmic reactions. They have to suffer for every sin that they're committing. But if a devotee commits accidentally some sin, the Lord purifies him. Not only takes away the reaction to such sin, he also makes him understand that you should not be doing this again. So he puts him in such some difficulty so that he will realize, yes, I shouldn't be doing this. So he purifies him. Purifies him. So that's why when today's verse is 9:30, right? So 9:29 if we go, what did he say? समोहम सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्. So this is actually today's two verses are continuation from that 9:29. What is that? I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So everybody is equal to me. I envy no one, nor am I partial. But who serves me, I am a special friend to him. And how special? Even if he does something wrong, that is today's verse. While he is in devotional service, if out of immaturity he does something wrong, I will purify him immediately. I will not let him suffer the reaction of sin and take birth and again do all this. I will save him from that. You see, he says today's verse, even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly. Sadhureva samantavyaha. Sadhureva samantavyaha. That means he should be still considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. So this is very important. Another verse I will show you. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजं हरेर् भजन्न पक्वोऽथ पतेत् ततो यदि यत्र क्व वा भद्रमभूदमुष्य किं को वार्थ आप्तो भजतां स्वधर्मतः. See, one who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything because he's just on the hamster wheel, going round and round the samsara chakra. That's it. He's just going round. He's not going anywhere. He does not gain anything. Whereas the devotee is covering ground towards the spiritual world. And even if he falls down, being immature, he will not be unsuccessful. even if his progress is stunted in this life, the next life he will start from where he stopped. That is the beauty of devotional service. Whatever he has done in devotional service never gets lost. Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo navidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. See? And Krishna actually explains how the unsuccessful yogi or devotee advances towards his destination. See, even if in this life his progress is checked because of his offense, because of his whatever, this is what happens. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha पार्थनैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते नहि कल्याण कृत कश्चित् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pritha, that is Arjuna, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Then, 641. Go to the translation. The unsuccessful yogi. So this is where his advancement was stopped in this lifetime somehow or other. What happens to him? Actually, Arjuna asked that question. Actually, let's go to that question so that because it's a very relevant question which everybody gets. Oh, what if I surrender to Krishna and something happens and I fall away from that? 37, I think it starts. Arjuna Uvacha अयतिः श्रद्धयोपेतो योगाच्छलितमानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? So he has surrendered to Krishna, but after some time he desists due to worldly mindedness and he has gone away. What happens to him? Then he says further, तच्चिन्नोभय विभ्रष्टश्चिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढ़ो ब्रह्मणः पथि. O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Very valid question, isn't it? What happens to him? He loses spiritually and materially? Because people will be scared, people will be afraid. Oh, if I take to spiritual life, what if something happens and I have to quit? And then I will lose my, few years in my life, and then I could have, I would have, done something materially at least, but now that is gone, and my spiritual life is also gone. Now I'm nowhere. One may get this doubt, right? So, एतन्मय संशयं कृष्ण छेत्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य छेत्ता उपपद्यते. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Then Krishna answers this question. These things. One who does transcendentalists engage in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world or in the next world. Does not meet with destruction. This is the same thing as that verse, Ayur Harati Vaipumsam, that sun rises and sets for everyone except for the devotee. Because actually the sun rising and setting means it is destruction. Because our life is being destroyed day by day by day. It is being eaten up. So the beautiful rising and the setting of the sun actually means death for us. So, but the devotee, death means what? This lifetime is gone. But the devotee, he goes to the eternal world, whereas the materialist continues in the material cycle. So let's see further what he says. Okay, he doesn't lose. How he doesn't lose? प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वतीः समाः शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टोऽभिजायते. The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. So, Krishna is actually giving a map of what happens to such a person. What happens to his, even if in this life he is completely gone, next life, what happens to that person? So he first of all goes to the heavenly planets, and many years he enjoys there. See, even an unsuccessful transcendentalist can go to Swargalok easily, Swarga Prapti, easily. And after that, comes back into this material world, I mean, to this earthly planet, and he is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy, royal families like that. Okay, then what happens? अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्भिदुर्लभतरं लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्. Or if unsuccessful after a long practice of yoga, the previous one was after a short practice, he falls down. Even then, he lives many years in the heavenly planets and comes back and takes birth in a very auspicious birth he gets. But if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. So he takes in families of exceptionally great devotees. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world. Okay. तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकं यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. See? Purvabhyasena tenaiva. Purvabhyasa means, abhyas means practice. Purvabhyas. His previous practice of devotional service will come back to him. That's how Gajendra, Gajendra Moksham, that story. Gajendra, he was an elephant, but actually he was a great king in his previous life. He was a great devotee and he was cursed and became an elephant. But when he was in danger, when the crocodile was, when he was having this great fight with the crocodile for 1,000 years of the demigods, he was fighting in the heavenly planets. And finally, when he was almost going to die, then, he raised one lotus flower he plucked from the lake and he offered up and then started chanting. He remembered the shlokas that he used to chant in his previous life as a king. That memory came back and he offered all those prayers to the Lord. And the Lord immediately came and he gave liberation to Gajendra. Purvabhyasa. Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha jigyasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. This is how he advances. प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस् ततो याति परां गतिम्. अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस्. That means after many lifetimes of such, see, even then, even the unsuccessful yogi, he takes many lifetimes. So that's not good, right? It's not good. But he ultimately will attain. But that aneka is nothing compared to the millions and billions and trillions of lifetimes we have taken in this material world, suffering. Maybe 10, 20, 100 lives, even if it's 100 lives. It won't be that long if he's not very offensive. But he will go back. What is 100 or even 1,000 compared to millions and billions? Bharat Maharaj was a great devotee. He got affectionate to a deer. And then within that life, next life, and next life, within 3 lives, he made it back to Godhead. 3 lives, you may think, oh, that is a failure. I mean, like, oh, wow, again took birth and again took birth. Animal even. But, you see, He, 3 lives, he made it back. So that's huge. I mean, Bharat Maharaj was extremely advanced, extremely advanced. We can't even think of the standard of his devotion before he was attached to the deer. He was in the bhava stage. Even then, that fall down took him 3 births to get back to pure devotee and go back to Godhead. So if we are nowhere near Bharat Maharaj, just imagine maybe 300, 3,000 lives, 30,000 lives, 300,000. So we have to become serious, that's all. We have to become serious and then it will be shorter. We should not actually go and aim for this Aneka Janma Samsiddha. We should go for Eka Janma Samsiddha, this one life, complete perfection. That's what we should aim for. And it's possible. In fact, Prabhupada said 1 minute is enough. 1 minute. But what makes the difference? Whether 1 minute or 1 million lifetimes, 1 billion lifetimes. What is the difference? Our sincerity of purpose. How sincere we are, how serious we are, how greedy we are for perfection. Siddhi lalasa, it is called. Greed for perfection. We have to become greedy for perfection. Siddhi lalasa. So, tato yad paramar. So let's see what the translation. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contamination, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. That is called a Mahatma, great soul. Not some person who is fighting for his country. That's not a Mahatma. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very, very rare. So that is called a Mahatma. Sudurlabha. Durlabha means very difficult to find. Sudurlabha means extremely difficult to find in this material world. In the spiritual world, full of Mahatmas. A rascal is hard to find in the spiritual world. You will never find a rascal there. Here, you will almost never find a sadhu. You'll only find rascals. So that's why a sadhu is rare in this world. So, going back again. And another verse I'll take. How the Lord is so merciful that he excuses the offenses of his devotee. कृत्यस्य पश्यति गुरूनपि नापराधान् सेवां मनागपि कृतां बहुधाभ्युपैति आविष्करोति पिशुनेष्वपि नाभ्यसूयां शीलेन निर्मलमतिः पुरुषोत्तमोऽयम्. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. In a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities. Then you may say, oh, Narasimhadev became angry. He became angry because Hiranyakashipu was offending his devotee. Because the devotee was being harassed, that's why he became angry. Otherwise, Hiranyakashipu was always hurling insults against Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu never became angry. Even Shishupal was throwing so many insults at Krishna. Krishna never became angry. But when it was time for him to die, he has released the Sudarshan Chakra, even that without anger. But when a devotee is harassed, oh, the Supreme Lord becomes very, very angry. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kill Jagai and Madhai when they hurt Nityananda Prabhu. Like that. So these are the verses where Lord readily excuses his devotee. Now, Go back. Okay. The temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always a success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. For, as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall downs will be stopped in due course as soon as a devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen. The words sadhureva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to the non devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly, even if he has accidentally fallen down. And the word mantavyaha is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then one is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. In the Narsimha Puran, the following statement is given. भगवति च हरावनन्यचेता भृशमलिनोऽपि विराजते मनुष्यः न हि शतकलुषच्छबिः कदाचित् तिमिरपराभवतामुपैति चन्द्रः. The meaning is that even if one fully engaged in devotional service of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities, these activities should be considered to be like the spots that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him abominable. Okay? That's how we should look at a devotee. Now, the other side of the coin. What about from the perspective of the devotee who has fallen down? Oh, I've fallen down, but you know what? Krishna says I'm a devotee still, so give me the respect of a devotee, man. No. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. In fact, it is the seventh offense. What is that? Namno balad yasya hi papa buddhi. That means, oh, I will chant Hare Krishna at the same time I will, do some sinful activities, and because I'm chanting, all that will be purified, and Krishna will excuse me, and I will still be considered devotee, and still be sadhureva samantavyaha. Then rascaleva samantavyaha. That is rascal. There should be repentance. See this. Atapya. What is this? Sorry. आतप्यमान हृदये वसितम आतप्यमान हृदये वसितम नमामि. Atapyaman hridaye vasitam. That means the Lord resides in the repentant heart. See? Atapyaman hridaye vasitam. Repentant, in the repentant heart he resides. So we have to be repenting, not like in the Christianity there is every Sunday you go and repent, and then Monday do the same rubbish again. That is no use. That repentance is that is not even repentance. That's some nonsense. So one has to repent and correct himself. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to the strong power of material connections. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall downs. Like, for example, in a war, if a soldier dies or is injured, he is more glorified. Oh, he's so brave. He took that for the country. So when one surrenders to Krishna, he is declaring war against Maya, and sometimes he may be wounded by Maya. Maya may actually become successful in actually attacking him, and he may fall down to base propensities. But still, he should be considered sadhu. But not that he is now riding on the illusory energy nicely, and then still he should be considered sadhu. No, if his endeavor is to fight it and somehow he fell for it, then it is glorified. Then he should still be considered a sadhu and he should be encouraged to. But not like, uh, he's, he's just no repentance, no fight. If there is no fight offered, then that is not a sadhu, that is a rascal. Rascal eva samantavya. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall downs. But when one is strong enough, he is no longer subjected to such fall downs as previously explained. So this is the thing. When he becomes strong, he will never fall down again. So when one is a third class devotee, he will fall down. When one is a second class, he does not fall down, and first class also does not fall down. No one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character by devotional service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee, high grade devotee. So this is the thing. He should improve himself. So that is also there. Not that, oh, sadhu, sadhu, everybody is sadhu. Sometimes the ISKCON, they argue like this. Oh, our guru fell down, but he's sadhu still. Because Krishna says. No, no, no. Guru can never fall down. Guru means, first of all, unless one is in this level, one cannot become guru in the first place. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam api mam prithivim sashishyat. Sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demand, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So he can become guru only if he can control his senses. He's a complete Goswami, only then he can become a guru. Otherwise, forget it. So when a guru falls down and says, oh, you should consider him sadhu, that is nonsense. Rubbish nonsense. So, this is for an advancing devotee who's on the path. A guru means he is with Krishna. That's why we chant Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya. That means he is at the lotus feet of Vishnu. He is very dear to Krishna. Such a person will never fall down. Will never fall down. So, Guru falling down and considering sadhu, that is all nonsense. That is this last part of the purport. Taking advantage of the verse and hiding behind this verse and doing all rubbish. That is condemned. Yeah. Now, next verse. What is the time? Wow, 9:40. This verse will not take that long because now we have a basic understanding, fundamental understanding. 9:31. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvachantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanehi name bhaktah pranashyati. I wanted to do these two verses together because of the continuity of the topic, the subject. Kshipram, because, oh, sadhu, sadhu, because if we look at these verses in isolation, they will look, oh, wow, this is still considered sadhu even if he's doing nonsense. It looks like that. But the next verse adds on to the point, continues the point. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Kshipram means very soon he will become a dharmatma. That means he will become a righteous person. All that sinful activity, that abominable activity will go, that tendencies will go, and then he will become purified very fast. Kshipram. That's why today's topic is lightning fast purification by Krishna consciousness. क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति. Shashwat Shanti means lasting peace. One is not peaceful because one is tormented by one's desires in the heart. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, these torment the heart. And Shashwat Shanti means he is no longer tormented. He is completely won over lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. Then he is peaceful. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataeva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakaliya Shanta. Only the devotee who is Nishkam, he is Shanta, he is the peaceful person. Bhukti, that means Bhuktikami means the one who's after sense gratification. Muktikami means one who's after merging, impersonal Advaita, merging of that kind of liberation. Muktikami, who wants to be liberated, he is also not peaceful. And Siddhikami, the yogis who want big siddhis, yoga siddhis, they are also not peaceful. Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakali Ashanta. Sakali Ashanta. This is Bengali. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataeva Shanta. He has no other desire. Krishna devotee. Nishkam. He has nothing to gain. He just wants to serve the Lord. He alone is peaceful. Yeah. Now let's look at the translation. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kuntī, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Never perishes means he does not die. No, he will die. This body will die. But he will not again come back to this cycle of birth and death. He will go back to the eternal kingdom. And even if he does not, due to his incompleteness in his practice, he will start from where he left off and he will continue and make further progress and achieve complete success in due course of time, very soon. Therefore, it is said that he does not perish. So he protects, Krishna protects our devotion. People think, oh, devotee never perishes. Oh, he will protect my body. My body will never die. He does not protect the body. He may protect the body incidentally sometime here and there. But one day the body will die. One day the body will give up, right? At that day, he is not going to stop it. So, did Krishna not protect his devotee? Devotee perished? No. What does not perish is our advancement, our spiritual bank balance of bhakti. That does not perish. And that is our currency to go. Like, if I want to buy a ticket, I need to have some money. If I can, uh, afford a plane ticket, I can go by plane. Like Prabhupada, he went by ship to America. He did not have any money. He asked for a free ride. And the lady was kind enough to give him. Actually, she could have bought him a plane ticket and sent him, but I don't know why she gave him a free ship ride in the cargo ship. She is rich enough to buy him a flight ticket. Somehow, she did not do that. She should have done that. Anyway, she gave him the cargo free ride in the cargo ship. So according to my currency, my travel can be, right. So my travel to the where I will go, what destination I can go, and how fast I can go depends on the currency. So dharmo vittam nirnam pretya. Vittam means money or wealth or currency. Dharmo vittam nirnam pretya. We all heard this many times that we have come here naked, we go naked. So we don't bring anything and we don't carry anything. We do carry something. We carry the credit and the debit, or the, what is that? When accounting, you have one page and the next page, the carryover from the previous month or some previous year or previous page, the balance sheet, the liabilities and the credits or whatever. I forget the financial terms. So those get carried forward, right? So like that, our liabilities are our karma. Whatever we have done, the sinful reactions that we take from our previous life, and we will face the consequences. That is our liabilities. And dharma is our credit, our assets and liabilities. So dharmo vittam. So dharma and karma. So dharma is our asset, karma is our liability, which we will carry forward to the next life. So dharmo vittam nirnam pretya, and especially Sanatan dharma is so powerful that it can burn up all karma. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā, 18 chapter 66 verse. Sarva dharman is the famous verse. Sarva dharman parityajyam mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. Masucha, don't worry. What is that? Sarva dharman parityajya. All dharma give up. What? Dharma give up? Yes. All these cheating forms of religion, anything that is not, anything that is in the garb of dharma, but it has nothing to do with surrender to Krishna, give up that. Krishna is saying. Even if it is in the realm of religion or some dharmic something. But if it is not surrender to Krishna, give that up. Sarva dharman parityajya. Sarva dharma. But one thing you don't give up. Replace all of that with one thing. Mam ekam. Mam ekam. Ekam means one. Alone, Krishna. Mam ekam means surrender to me alone. Not that Krishna, Shiva, Ganesh, Kartikeya, Durga. No. That is not ekam. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender unto me exclusively. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will rid you, I will give you moksha from all papa, sarva papebhyo. Whatever you have done in the past, millions of lifetimes, billions of lifetimes, I will cancel all of that. I will write off all of that. So, pious activities is our asset, sinful activities are liability, we think, but actually all of them are liabilities. When we speak of dharma, we're talking about Sanatan dharma, which burns up. There is another verse in the, I think, Padma Purana or Vishnu Purana. Aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham pramenaiva praliyeta Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. You see, Padma Purana, yes. Our papa or our sin that we commit is like a sin, is like a seed, sorry. In the Bible, there is this verse, as you sow, so shall you reap. That is the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. If I sow the seed of sin today, that seed will slowly grow into a sapling and become a plant and become a tree and bear flowers and fruit, and the fruit ripens. And when it ripens, that's when we face the consequence. So there is a time lag between the sowing of the seed and the fructification of it. So that's why we don't immediately experience the results of our karma. So now that so now at this point in time, I have a baggage of so many past sinful activities, right? So some sinful activities are maybe in the form of seedling, seed. Some in the form of sapling. Some, a little more, in a plant form, or some in the, almost ripened. Some are ripened. At any stage there are all these things, whichever stage they are in, these dormant sinful reactions, which are waiting to take effect. Aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham kramenaiva praliyeta. One by one, every one of them are destroyed. Praliyeta Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. When we engage in Vishnu Bhakti or Krishna Bhakti, all these things are destroyed. to the root, burn to the root. So there are different stages of dormant reactions to sinful activities to be observed in a sinful life. Sinful reactions may be just waiting to take effect, phalonmukha. Reactions may be still further dormant, kuta, or the reactions may be in a seed-like state, bija. In any case, all types of sinful reactions are vanquished one after another if a person engages in the devotional service of Lord Vishnu. So you see, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo. When he says sarva papebhyo means all the papa in every single stage, everything will be destroyed. That is what he means. So that dharma is the currency. So the greater is our asset in devotional life of Krishna consciousness, the greater and the faster is our journey back to Godhead, to Krishna. So purport, this should not be misunderstood. In the 7th chapter, the Lord says that one who is engaged in mischievous activities cannot become a devotee of the Lord. What should not be misunderstood? That one engages in abominable activities, but then he is quickly purified and then he becomes dharmatma and then lasting peace. That means if he commits abominable activities, he can still get lasting peace by just doing some devotional service. Oh, that means I can, do abominable activities. No. One should be a devotee. One who is not a devotee of the Lord has no good qualifications whatsoever. The question remains then, how can a person engaged in abominable activities, either by accident or by intention, be a pure devotee? This question may justly be raised. The miscreants, as stated in the 7th chapter, who never come to the devotional service of the Lord, have no good qualifications, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Where is it stated? 5, 18, 12. यस्यास्ति भक्तिर्भगवत्य किञ्चना सर्वैर्गुणैस्तत्र समासते सुराः हरावभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुणा मनोरथेना सति धावतो बहिः. All the demigods, that means the devatas, and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. So, all the good qualities of the devatas become manifest in the body of a devotee who has surrendered himself to Krishna. That's why devotees are usually having all good qualities. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Now, this may be contested. Arey yaar, you cannot say like that. Some people will argue. He's also, after all, a good person. Yeah, he's not a devotee, but he's still a good person, right? Now, in the material estimation, he may be considered a good person, but not in the spiritual estimation. He may have favorable tendencies that will make him a good person, but he's not yet a good person until he comes to Krishna consciousness. Now you may say, "Hey, this is not fair. How can you criticize somebody who is honestly doing his work? And he's just friendly to everyone and is trying to help others. How can you say he has no good qualities? This is too much." People may jump. So let's try to analyze. Now, just because he's not a devotee, he does not immediately become a demon yet. There are two classes of non-devotees. One is ignorant, innocent. One is envious. The envious is an absolute rascal. But the innocent can be made into a devotee. Then all the mundane good qualities will actually shine. Because without Krishna consciousness, all the mundane good qualities are like many, many zeros. Like a person may have 15 good qualities. That is like 15 zeros. How many ever zeros you put, it is a zero. But when you put a 1 in front of that, to the left, oh, each zero counts. So that 1 is Krishna. So if he adds, coupled with all his good material qualities, which will end as zero, because they're not going to take him anywhere spiritually. He's not going to make a big leap because he's still going to be in the material world. See, I am now in Singapore. If I have to go to India, Delhi, for example, I have to take the flight and go land in Delhi, right? Then I'm actually making progress. As I'm in the flight, I'm actually making progress and I actually reach the place and I'm there. But I may move any amount. I may walk around Singapore like, 100 times and travel thousands of kilometers like that, but I'll still be in Singapore. I have not moved an inch out of Singapore. So in the material world, we are rotating. Sometimes in Svargalok, sometimes in Patal Lok, sometimes in Bhulok, sometimes in Janalok, Maharlok, Tapolok. We are going many planets. Millions of planets are there. That rotation is not considered a real movement. It is movement, yes, you can say. And one is do Pradakshina to Singapore. Yeah, Pradakshina of Singapore, then it is still considered movement. You're moving, but around the pole only, around the center. So, like an ox, in the oil pressing machine. The ox, I don't know if you've seen. I have not seen a real thing. I have seen videos of it because the description is given in the scriptures. So I just was curious and I saw. So the ox, the bull, he's made to go around that medhi, that pole axis, and then in that way he crushes the peanuts or whatever it is and makes oil. So he goes around and every day he moves 8 miles around, almost 8 miles. But how far did he go? Zero, because he was just going around the same medhi, the axis. You can go round and round and round for millions of times. Your displacement is zero. Your distance may be millions of miles, but your displacement from that point is zero. That's what we're talking about. So one may do a lot of things in this world and one may have so many good qualities in this world. But if he's not moving from that axis of material attachment, he has no good qualities. Why? For example, let's start. So there is a story of a thief, a band of burglars, dacoits. So, four of them. So they reach at sunset at a forested area nearby a village or a town, and then they decide, okay, at nightfall, today is Amavasya, let's go. You go north, I go south, you go west, this person go east. We will cover all these directions and loot as much as possible and come back here before dawn and distribute our collections equally. So they go and steal everywhere and then come back. Now the leader of them, he says, okay, all of you be honest. I want honesty. I want integrity. And everybody should be fair. Take out everything. Don't hide anything. Everything should be pooled together and everybody should get equally. Okay? Be fair. Be honest. Have integrity. So he's talking about all these good qualities now. But the basis of the entire good qualities is stolen property. Stolen property, first of all, and then you're trying to like divide equally, be fair, be equal. All these good words he's using, but the underlying property is stolen, yeah. So it is on the platform of immorality, and now he's speaking morality. So we are like that. Stena eva sa uchyate. Donga. In Telugu we call donga, means thief. What is that? Let's see. इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवा दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तान् अप्रदायैभ्यो यो भुङ्क्ते स्तेन एव सः. Stena means thief. We take everything from the Lord. Everything that we have, even our body, our mind, our intelligence is the property of the Lord. He has bestowed us, and that's why we have it. Otherwise, we did not create it, nor did our parents. They just had intercourse, sexual intercourse. That's it. After that, it's beyond their control. Who engineers the body? Who is the Lord? So, It's his property. We are given this body on rent for a certain amount of time. That's it. On rent. So when I think that this is mine, that is mine, this is mine, that is mine, that's a thief. You're taking somebody else's property and claiming it your own. So you're a thief to start with. And now you're talking about, morality, being friendly to others. Where is your friendship with the Lord? If I take something from you, even a pen, I have to say thank you. That is etiquette. Acknowledging. But if I don't even acknowledge, I just take and talk as if I made everything, I did everything. And that is not even acknowledging the Lord. Forget about saying thank you or in fact, it is meant for his enjoyment. You know, the pen, if it is somebody else's pen, it is for his usage. And I am using it for my own purpose. And if I say this is my pen, I am a thief. And what to speak of pen, everything we are taking from the Lord. The air we breathe is the Lord's air. The sounds with which we are making our words, offending the Lord also, are made from the sounds which are made by the Lord. Everything we have borrowed. And then now I am saying that this is mine, this is mine. Thief. To start with, he's a thief. If he does not acknowledge the presence of the Lord, if he's an atheist, he's a thief to start with. Or if he thinks a devata, some demigod, if he's a demigod worshipper, he's still not perfect. Because he's giving credit to someone else. It is the property of Kṛṣṇa, but he thinks it is the property of, say, Durga or Ganesh. Or so nowadays Sai Baba is coming in. Who is this Muslim man who's coming in and became suddenly God? This kind of things are going on. And then they will give credit to him as if, oh, you are everything. Or this devata is everything. That is also nonsense. Because the devata is not everything. The devata themselves, they don't think they are everything. They think they are servant of Kṛṣṇa. Om tad Vishnoho paramam padam sada pashyanti surayah. Rigveda mantra. What is that? All the devatas, they are worshipping the paramam padam Vishnu. That is the Purusha Sukta. The whole Purusha Sukta is about glorification of Vishnu. So, that is what the devatas are glorifying. They are all Shiva Virinchinutam. Even Shiva and Virinchi, Brahma, they are falling down at the feet of Narayana, Kṛṣṇa. And we think, some ordinary man is equal to God and give him all the credit. Oh, you are everything, you are everything. I'm taking from someone and I'm saying that this is yours. Take from Mr. A and say, Mr. B, this is all yours. What is going on? So that is also nonsense. Only when we accept Kṛṣṇa as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he is first of all not a thief. Otherwise, he's a thief to start with. He can have no good qualities. All the good qualities that he has are like zeros. It's not that the devotee just condemns everyone. No. If he has some good qualities, now he will try to engage them and make him a devotee so that his good qualities can actually shine. Otherwise, they will be left without value. Because if he uses all those good qualities in opposition to the Lord's desires, then it will become worthless. Worthless. So to make something out of that, he sees, okay, this person has these good qualities, okay, employ them in the service of the Lord so they can actually produce good results for him. Otherwise, there will be a waste of investment of getting all those good qualities because it's based on a foundation of falsity, foundation of immorality. So that's why if we don't accept Kṛṣṇa, we are a thief. So what morality can a thief have? There's no such thing as a moral thief. So that's why a devotee does not have any good qualities. Because if a thief, just like the band of dacoits, morality, equality, fairness, honesty, integrity, all those words are useless because property is stolen. Now he may talk any amount of morality. All the foundation is false. So that's why. Okay. So going back. Generally, a devotee who is engaged in the 9 kinds of devotional activities is engaged in the process of cleansing all material contamination from the heart. He puts the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, and all sinful contaminations are naturally washed away. Continuous thinking of the Supreme Lord makes him pure by nature. Om apavitrah pavitro va sarvavastham gatopi va yah smaret pundarikaksham sabhahyabhyantara suchih. Om Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. So, this is the mantra. Apavitraha pavitro va sarva avastham gatopi va yah smaret pundarikaksham sabhahya abhyantara shuchihi. So all our impurities, everything will become washed off, become externally and internally purified just by thinking of Krishna. According to the Vedas, there is a certain regulation that if one falls down from his exalted position, he has to undergo certain ritualistic processes to purify himself. This is called atonement or prayaschitta. Prayaschitta one has to undergo to atone for the mistake he has done. But here there is no such condition in devotional service. Because the purifying process is already there in the heart of the devotee due to his remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. So the only thing he has to actually do is remember Krishna. That's the um, nucleus of all purification. That's the essence of all purification. Every other form of purification is actually an indirect way of purification. The thinking of Krishna is the actual purifying method. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare should be continued without stoppage. This will protect a devotee from all accidental fall downs. He will thus remain perpetually free from all material contaminations. So, Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma. He becomes a righteous being, righteous soul. When one is constantly, in devotional service. Therefore, there is this verse. In our devotional lives, we may face some challenges here and there, and we may fall for the material, allurement sometimes. We should guard ourselves from that fall down. But if it happens, something happens, and if we fall down from our position, then we should continue with greater vigor in devotional service and purify ourselves and repent, heavily repent for the fault. You see here 11, 20, 27, and 28. जात श्रद्धो मत कथासु निर्विण्णः सर्वकर्मसु वेद दुःखात्मकान् कामान् परित्यागेऽप्यनीश्वरः ततो भजेत मां प्रीतः श्रद्धालुर् दृढनिश्चयः जुषमाणश्च तान् कामान् दुःखोदर्कांश्च गर्हयन्. Having awakened faith in the narrations of my glories, being disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction. Even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities. So, this should be the position. Honestly, at every point, we are committing so many mistakes, even in our devotional service, maybe offending devotees. So, we should always repent and introspect and correct and engage in devotional service, even though my mind is not completely strong to, you know, stop materialistic activities. I have to force myself to be in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. Force myself, not oppressive force. I have to just be engaged in hearing and chanting. That will purify me, purify my desires, and I will have newer understanding and pray to Krishna. And in that prayerful mood, when I engage in devotional service, you know, um, I'll show you this one verse. Prahlad Maharaj. Let's see this verse. नाहं बिभेम्यजिततेति भयानकास्य जिह्वार्कनेत्रभ्रुकुटीरभसोऽग्रदंष्ट्रात् आन्त्रस्रजः क्षतजकेशरशङ्कुकर्णान् निर्ह्रादभीतदिगिभाद् अरिभिन्नखाग्रात्. Prahlad Maharaj is saying to Narsimadev, My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp, pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high wedge like ears. Nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. I am not afraid of any of these fearful, dangerous features of your body. But what do I fear? One second. What do I fear? हस्तोऽस्म्यहं कृपणवत्सलदुः सहोग्र संसारचक्रकदनाद्ग्रसतां प्रणीतः बद्धः स्वकर्मभिरुषत्तमतेऽङ्घ्रिमूलम् प्रीतोपवर्गशरणं ह्वयसे कदा नु. O most powerful, insurmountable Lord, who are kind to the fallen souls, I have been put into the association of demons as a result of my activities, and therefore I am very much afraid of my condition of life within this material world. He's saying, I'm not afraid of you, your ferocious features. I'm afraid of my condition of life within this material world. When will that moment come when you will call me to the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the ultimate goal for liberation from conditional life? This afraid means he is very alert to the danger of Maya. Not that because he's a devotee, he says, Maya is a cakewalk. No, he doesn't. He's very alert. Because Maya is Krishna's energy. So if Krishna wants, he can again employ Maya to cover the living entity. So only in help, helpless surrender to the Lord, helpless surrender to the Lord. That is the only position under which we are safe. When we fully have confidence only in the Lord and not in myself. Motivational speakers will say, "Oh, have confidence, you can do it," and you cannot do nothing in your life. Nothing you can do without the sanction of the Lord. Let's be very honest. Okay? Humility means to have complete conviction that only Krishna can save me. Nothing else. When I have confidence in something else, that means I don't have confidence in Krishna. It's directly proportional to my lack of confidence in Krishna. That I take shelter of some other thing than Krishna. I think that my bank balance will save me, my army, my country's military will save me, insurance will save me, this will save me, that will save me. Nothing but Krishna will save me. Save me from what? Oh, save me from death? No. Save me from Maya, the attractions, the glamour, the glitter and glamour of Maya, which is the source of my continual cycle of birth in this material world. That is the danger. That is the real danger. Not some accident will happen or something. No, the real danger is that I'm going to take birth for millions and trillions of lifetimes. That is the danger. So, and forgetfulness of Krishna is danger. Actually, a devotee does not even mind dying many times. He just wants to be in the association of devotees life after life. Because he doesn't even feel the pangs of death if he's in Krishna consciousness. He doesn't even mind death many, many times. He just wants to be in service of Krishna. That lack of service will give him hell. Hell. That is hell for him. Lack of service to Krishna. That is hell for him. So that is love. So we should be very careful, always, alert, and praying to the Lord to save me from allurements of Maya. So in that mood, one has to conduct oneself. Then he will perpetually remain free. That's why, this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should do, yes. But to get the full faith in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and to surrender to the Mahamantra, we should always read Prabhupada's books, because we don't even know with which mood we should chant. And that is why also we should chant with Sharanagati, right? With surrender. And that's why also we should, study the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He wrote a book called Sharanagati. And the 6 aspects of surrender, which are Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Varjanam, Rakshishyati Vishwaso, Goptritve Varnam Tatha, Atmanikshepa Karpanye, Shadvidha Sharanagatihi. 6 aspects of surrender. Acceptance of things that are favorable to devotional service, Anukulyasya Sankalpa. Pratikulyasya Varjanam, giving up of those things which are not favorable to devotional service. And Rakshishyati Vishwaso, having full faith that the Lord will protect me. Protect me means not from death and not from some danger. Protect me from Maya. Always remember, protection means not from death. Not that he will protect the body, he will protect the soul, the eternal activity, the dharma of the soul, the relationship between the Krishna and the devotee. That relationship he will protect. Body will die one day. It is subject to death. We cannot be in the illusion that the Lord will protect my body. Never be in that, because one day will come when the Lord will not protect the body. The body will go. At that time, are we going to lose our faith in the Lord? Oh, the Lord protected me, He saved me, I was going to die, I chanted Narsimha and then, I was saved. Okay, fine. But the day I'm going to leave, He's not, even if we chant Narsimha 1000 times, He was not going to stop it. The body will go. At that time, what am I going to do? Am I going to lose my faith? So that's why we should understand what does the Lord protect. Actually, I gave a class on this the other time. So the Lord protects our devotional service, our bhakti. So, Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. He may incidentally protect our body for sometimes, here and there. He may do that also. But that's to maybe instill some faith in us on the Lord. But that should not be the only impetus for us to have faith in the Lord. Oh, He saved me yesterday, so yes, there is the Lord. Next time also, I have anything, I will ask the Lord again for protection. Actually, the devotee does not disturb the Lord. You see, when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by the Brahmin boy, he could have easily asked the Lord, please save me. He did not. Then what is this prayer by the devotee that, save me, save me? In fact, one devotee asked me, what about Kavacha stotras, like Narsimha Kavacha, Narayana Kavacha. So Kavacha stotras are there for protection. Why is the devotee? Prahlad Maharaj actually wrote that Narsimha Kavacha. It was chanted by Prahlad Maharaj. So why does a pure devotee ask for, if you see the, lines in that, protect my face, protect my, back, protect my front, protect my eyes, all this. Why is he asking for all this bodily protection? No, it is not bodily protection. Protect my eyes means let me see only you everywhere. Let me not be um, deviated and see something else, see something different from you. See everything, what is this? Thavar jangam dekhe na dekhe tar murti. Sarvatra hoy nija ishtadeva spurti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the vision of a pure devotee. He may see everything animate and inanimate just as an ordinary person does, but everything, everywhere he sees his Lord, Krishna there. He sees in the preliminary stages, he sees everything in relation with Krishna. Like Krishna gives us some hints in Bhagavad-gītā, for example. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. I am the taste of water. Every time you are drinking water, the taste, the satisfaction that you get when you drink water, that taste I am. I am that taste. So whenever I am the Prabhasmi Shashi Surya Yoho, I am the light of the sun and the moon. Pranavaha, I am Om. I am the word Om, the syllable Om. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, in all the Vedas, the Om, that is me. Shabdaha Khe, wherever there is sound, that is a representation of me. Paurusham Nirshu, when we see some extraordinary ability in a man, he does something extraordinary, he or she. That ability is me. So he's teaching us how to see Krishna in everything. So in that way, one will actually come to the point of seeing the actual form of Krishna everywhere, even though he's seeing everything. So protect my eyes means that let me see only you. So in that way, protect my hands, legs, all this means keep them engaged in your service, like Ambarish Maharaj. Karau harer mandiramarjanadishu, engaging one's hands in the temple, cleansing the temple and all kinds of services for the Lord. Let my hand not be engaged in any material activity. That is the protection. So, but materialistic people will chant the Narasimha Kavacha Stotra for the protection of their body. So that Narasimha, please protect my body so that I can enjoy my senses, eating meat and what is that? Illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. I can smoke. Narasimha, please save me. Huh? Like near my house, I went to India. I went to Hyderabad. My house there nearby. There is this Venkateshwara Wines, Sri Venkateshwara Wines, wine shop. Venkateshwar wine shop. He wants blessings of Venkateshwar so that he can have good business of selling wine. Rascal, this is not the reason to worship Venkateshwar. In fact, Venkateshwar will curse him. Arey, you go to hell. But of course, because he will chant the name of Venkateshwara, the purification will happen one day. He will come out of this wine business. Hope his wine business will fail and he may come out of it. That is the other thing. Because at least he put his shop name Venkateshwara. That will save him one day. Come out of the wine business. Not that Venkateshwara should give him more wine business. No. If Venkateshwara blesses him, he will come out of the wine business. In what is this? Ahobilam. Near there also we saw Narasimha wine. Right? So that they will chant Narasimha, please protect me so that my wine shop can have good business. This is, and not, it may not be like as explicit. Sometimes it is just like, I want to be engaged in my material activities. I want to make something, morally right, but Narasimha, so that I can have my Narasimha Kavacha, so that I can have my comfortable material life. That is not the reason why we should worship Narasimha. And Narasimha, when we come with that, it is still pious, at least we are approaching Narasimha, but it is not pure devotion. In fact, pure devotees, they will condemn that. There was this thing. In 1898, there was a big plague in Kolkata. Plague, and many people were dying. Something like an epidemic. So there was one man who organized a Harinam Sankirtan to counteract such epidemic. And he did the Harinam Sankirtan, Nagar Sankirtan. He went on the roads with a group of people, and he entered every house and chanted, and house to house he went like that. And the whole thing he chanted, and then very soon after that the epidemic was over. So by the power of Harinam, it did happen. But Prabhupada said that is not pure chanting. Because you are using Harinam, or you're trying to use Harinam to solve a material problem so that you can comfortably live in this material world. The very point of going to Krishna is to come out of the material world, not to stay comfortably in the material world. So that's not proper prayer. So we should know what to pray for and why those prayers are there, the Kavacha Stotras. What is the protection? Okay. So I think with that I would like to stop and take any questions or comments. I think there are a few questions I see. Let me see. Dimitri from Russia, he's asking, some devotees even dare to use Bhagavad-gītā 9:30 for justification of their fall downs. Is it considered the sixth offense, committing sins on the strength of chanting? Well, it's the seventh offense. Yeah, committing sins on the strength of chanting. Yes. You cannot justify a fall down. You see, sadhureva samantavya means for the other person who is not devotee, or the person who has not fallen down, who has not done the abominable action, for him to see the person who has done the abominable action as something else than a devotee, when he is actually sincerely trying, but out of weakness he fell down. But he is repenting and he is coming. So a person should consider him a sadhu. Now, he may not particularly closely associate with that person, because he's still not sure where he stands and what is his level of repentance, what is his level of devotion, how serious is he to correct himself. So it is okay to, maintain a distance from that person, but still he should be given the respect of sadhu, because Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. If even one is chanting the name of Krishna, somehow he should be given the respect, at least in our mind, manasadriyeta. So we have to give the respect of sadhu, but we may not associate with him closely. But when we are sure, okay, he is actually serious and he is, really on, then one can associate more. Or if he can actually help him come out of that, then also we can give his association. But he should still be given that benefit of doubt, and he should be given a chance to rectify himself. But if it is seen that he is regularly, without repentance, without shame, he just goes on doing it, then he should just completely avoid that association completely. Still giving him respect of sadhu. Okay, he is Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. He is chanting the name of Krishna. So let me give that respect. Because he is chanting the name of Krishna. One day he will have success. Let Krishna give him sadbuddhi, but I will maintain my distance because I am not strong enough to purify him. Let Krishna purify him. I will seek association of those who can purify me. Sometimes we hear Hare Krishna League is asking. Sometimes we hear that when one takes to Krishna consciousness, he becomes first class and later leaves back to some karma activities, he becomes fifth class. How to understand this? So Prabhupada said, before joining Krishna consciousness, one is a third class man. And when one joins Krishna consciousness movement, he becomes first class. And after that, when he leaves, he becomes fifth class. So this is in this context that when one is not serving Krishna out of ignorance, because of not knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, ignorance is his excuse. When you have knowledge and doing it, okay, that's first class. When you have knowledge and then still give up, then you're fifth class. Of course, because he has done something that will remain. But then the act of giving up after even knowing it, how foolish one must be in that context. You see, there is a verse. This is 526.3 Srimad Bhagavatam. This is not a verse, this is a prose actually. I'll just go to this English. See, just as by executing various pious activities, one achieves different positions in heavenly life, by acting impiously, one achieves different positions in hellish life. Those who are activated by the material mode of ignorance engage in impious activities. And according to the extent of their ignorance, they are placed in different grades of hellish life. If one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. Just for example, if somebody kills someone, but the person who killed, if he's a mentally deranged person, he's not punished as much as uh, a proper person who's mentally together. So, if one acts similarly, when one does some papa or sinful action out of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. One who acts impiously but knows the distinction between pious and impious activities is placed in a hell of intermediate severity. That means the severity of a person who knows what is correct and not correct but yet acts impiously. He is placed in a hell of higher severity. And for one who acts impiously and ignorantly because of atheism, that means ardent, vehement atheism, like he's just um, absolutely against and envious of the Lord, the resultant hellish life is the worst. So you see, The punishment, if you do not know, third class person before Krishna consciousness is because everybody is mad in this material world and they are not serving Krishna. Okay, fine. You are doing out of madness. But now, after Krishna consciousness and then you're going out, now you know, and then you're still doing. So sometimes such a devotee may get some big hits in life. Hit means not super hit like that hit. Hit means whack, get whacked in life. So that is Krishna's mercy to bring him back to track again. And if he is not worthy of such mercy, it may not happen in this life. Maybe next life, some other life, he will again be reminded of his position and continue. Now we are all continuing our devotional life, maybe from our past life. That's because we committed some offense and stopped. Our progress was interrupted because of our offenses. Now we are continuing, or we have just started this life, whichever it is. So that's how it is. That's why it is fifth class. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, if a Babaji become sannyasi and then go to Vrindavan and engage in illicit sex, he'll become monkey next life. That is fifth class. I mean, that's not even human. Doing stupid things in Vrindavan after that. But then after that, he will quickly get what? He will become liberated and then he will go to the place where, Krishna's pastimes will be there, and then eventually he will go there. Very soon. It's not like many, many lifetimes. Either the next lifetime or after that or something, nearby. He will go. So although it is fifth class, but he's still given that, he's not like an ordinary monkey. Um, so that, like that. Okay, so Varun Prakash is asking, if someone is engaged in devotional service and disobeys his guru's orders, what will happen to him? Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya aprasadan nagatih kutopi. So every morning we sing this. So if the spiritual master is not pleased, then we have no standing, no footing in spiritual life. And we will see that the devotee will lose taste for his devotional life, and everything becomes troublesome. I'll show you a couple of verses in this regard. This is Sandipani Muni is speaking to Krishna and Balaram. No, this is to Krishna and Sudama. What did he say? तुष्टोऽहं भो द्विजश्रेष्ठाः सत्याः सन्तु मनोरथाः छन्दांसि ययातयामानि भवन्त्विह परत्र च. You boys are the best of the twice born, and I am satisfied with you. Twice born means one who is initiated by Guru. That is the second birth. May all your desires be fulfilled, and may the Vedic mantras you have learned never lose their meaning for you in this world or the next. What does this mean? Ayatayamani. Yatayamam. There is this phrase, Yatayamam, and you will find this in the Bhagavad-gītā 17.10. With regards to, see this, Yatayamam. Yatayamam gatarasam. Rasam means taste. Gatarasam means the taste has left. This is talking about the food. Yatayamam gatarasam. What is Yatayamam? Food cooked 3 hours before being eaten. This is Yatayamam. Gatarasam means it becomes tasteless. So, stale, in other words. Stale. So, if you go to the previous verse here, he used the word ayatayamani. Yatayamam. Yatayamani. Now, opposite is ayatayamani. See that? So, opposite. That means it will never be stale. Chandamsi, Vedic mantras. Whatever you have learned, your Vedic study will not become stale for you, will not become tasteless for you. It will always remain fresh, ever fresh. And it will inspire you spiritually and keep you enthusiastic, keep you enthused in spiritual life. Because you see, in spiritual life, we face sometimes, situations where we feel morose in our Krishna consciousness. we should immediately know that we have done some offense. Because this ayata yamani, why it has become tasteless? Because if I'm really Krishna conscious, I should always be enthusiastic about Krishna consciousness, about my service, about the whole thing. Why am I sometimes losing that enthusiasm? Why am I, that means immediately I must know for sure. This is what diagnosis is. We have to self diagnose ourselves every single time, and that's called introspection. I have done something wrong. Somewhere something is amiss. And pray to the devotees, pray to Prabhupada, pray to Krishna. Read Prabhupada's books. You will get the answer in Prabhupada's books. Or hear the lectures. Hear the devotees speak. And then you will get the answer. Read Prabhupada's books. Chant Hare Krishna sincerely. Krishna will reveal. As Paramatma, he will reveal what is that I can improve upon. What is the thing that I should correct myself. Or the devotees may directly chastise us. Because of my chanting, because of my sincere thing, actually Krishna will make the devotee directly chastise us so that our fault is exposed, so that, oh, okay, now, yes, I should change this. Okay, I should thank the devotee for directly pointing it out instead of me speculating and trying to find out. When the devotee tells me directly, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, and then that's actually good for me because he has saved me time. So I should welcome such chastisement. So ayata yamani. So when that ayata yamani, or never growing old, never growing stale, when it becomes gatarasam, does not happen. Gatarasam means the tasteless. Taste has left the food. That is called gatarasam. So our taste in Krishna consciousness, if it does not have to leave us, this is important. Tushtoham. Sandipani Muni, the guru of Krishna, is saying, I am satisfied. And therefore, chandamsi ayatayamani. So, yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya prasadan nagatih kutopi. Now, even if someone is engaged externally in devotional service, if he disobeys his guru's orders, he may, for an outsider, he may still be, looking like engaging in devotional service, but the taste is never the same. Taste dwindles, dwindles, and dwindles, and dwindles. And one day it will just vanish, becomes dry. Devotional service is no more attractive. It becomes like that. So, how would I know if he's tasting it or not tasting it? Whether he's engaged in any material activity or not, whether he's compromising the philosophy or not, whether how true is he in the matter of preaching, in the matter of following everything. Is he bringing or introducing some material concepts? Is he bringing some impersonalistic concepts, materialistic concepts into his preaching, into his talk, into his actions? By that we can see. Not by his dress or not by... A devotee is very, very sharp. If he is properly situated, he is very sharp. He can see slightest changes in one's mentality just by observing him. So, we can know how he is, what is he filling up his time with? How is he spending his time? What is he doing? What is he speaking? Because that shows a lot about a person, how he speaks. Sometimes that's not all, because he can still speak, philosophy and then do something else on the side. So, one can observe. I mean, if he observes the person a while, then one can know. So, we should be very careful in noting these things in ourselves and also others. Fault finding is essential. Controversial, right? It's because I should find my own faults. I should know what faults are. I should know what dharma is, what adharma is. So when adharma comes in the garb of dharma, I can detect. Otherwise, I'll be fooled. So, even in my own life, whether I'm in the name of Krishna consciousness, material things may come in. I should be very careful. And I may also see that in others. And I should know this because I must choose my association wisely. So I have to know where is the fault, where is not. I should know. Not that blindly everything is good and like imitate a Mahabhagavat. No, I should know what fault is. I should know what correctness is. If I can help the other person come out of the fault, I should. And that's why I should point out. I should, and do it tactfully. As we grow, Krishna will reveal how to do everything. Um, so anyway, I should know what fault is. Even if I find fault with others, I should do it on the basis of Sadhu Shastra Guru, and that also to protect myself and to protect others and to protect the person who is even doing that. If I can't recognize what a fault is, how am I going to train somebody if I have to preach? Preaching means not just sitting and giving one class and then going away and then. That's not preaching. Preaching means to make that person surrender. Convince the other person, not make the person surrender. You can't make anybody do it. You have to convince the person that he has to surrender. That's what Bhagavad-gītā was. Krishna spoke Bhagavad-gītā and Arjuna said, Karishye vachanam tava. I will do whatever you say. That is surrender. So we have to surrender to Krishna. So preaching means to get the person to surrender to Krishna. So if he's not surrendering, somewhere there is a gap, there's some mistake, there is something which is holding him back, then I should know what that is so that I can guide him to correct him. So, and when I'm not preaching, when I'm myself, just a beginner and myself just advancing, I should still know what a fault is because I should know how to correct myself. And even if I observe faults in others, I should see that, okay, that mistake I should not do. Not simply going around, oh, that guy, rascal, this guy, rascal, oh, I am the best person. No. I should know that these are the pitfalls and I should not. And I may criticize it for my own protection and for protecting others too, so that they also know that this is something wrong, I should not do it. For that reason, not out of hatred for that person who is doing that wrong. Never out of hatred. It is to protect oneself, protect others, to enlighten them what is wrong and what is correct, and if possible, to correct that person itself who is doing the wrong. So, we should know what is what. I hope that answers the question. Next, Karti, Sai Karti is saying, Prabhu, the accumulation of spiritual credit happens only after one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, all one's devotional practice is useless, right? Yes. So, especially initiation starts with when we are being introduced to the books of Prabhupada. And that is the point where the spiritual master is giving the knowledge. The initiation is complete when I agree to everything and I agree to follow and surrender to the spiritual master. You see, Karishye Vachanam Tava, Arjuna said in 18th chapter, 73rd verse, right at the end of Bhagavad-gītā. So after that only his spiritual life started. Well, of course, Arjuna is always a devotee, Nitya Siddha. But for that drama that was enacted, Arjuna was ignorant in the beginning, right? And Krishna started, in fact, in second chapter itself, he says, Sadhumam Tvam Prapannam. He said, I surrender to you. What was that surrender compared to the surrender at the end when he said, Karishye Vachanam Tava? What is the difference there? In the beginning, he was not clear. He was not clear what to do with life. So he surrendered to Krishna and agreed to hear from him. So he is looking for Sambandha Jnana. So he agreed. So in the beginning, Arjuna was posing all arguments. So because he posed himself as if he understood everything, like a pandit. And Krishna chastised him for that when he surrendered. And he surrendered as a disciple. So Sambandha, Abhidheya, Prayojana. Sambandha means first understand my relationship with the Lord. Okay, now understood, abhidheya, act in that relationship. And then we will get to the final goal, prayojana. This is also translated as swarupa, swadharma, swartha. So swarupa, swadharma, swartha. So this is sambandha, abhidheya, prayojana. So in the beginning, he was seeking knowledge. That is also a form of surrender. At least I have started hearing. Now I have heard enough. I have understood. Okay, now I am acting. Karishye vachanam tava. Sarvameta dhritam manye, he said. Yanmam vadasi Keshava, 10th chapter. I accept in total whatever you are saying. So that is, acceptance of sambandha. But then one to act on that is abhidheya. So, Adav Shraddha, in one's chronological advancement of devotional life, Adav Shraddha, in the beginning there is Shraddha. And that's why I tato sadhu sangha. I associate with sadhus and start. So that Shraddha itself is a start of devotional life. So that is initiation. But you will, when you find Hindus who just like, you know, chant here and there mantras and here do some Gita part, Bhagavad-gītā and this and that, but nothing changes in their mind. Nothing, like not really have started. That is useless in the sense that there is some piety there, but it's never in the realm of devotional service, proper devotional service. When we start contacting the pure devotee, that itself is initiation. But in that stage, it is we getting sambandha jnana, and we certainly are getting purified, because of which we will even agree to become initiated. Because agree to become initiated means to agree to surrender. So unless we are at a level of purification, we cannot even agree to surrender. So that initiation into spiritual life has happened even at Adav Shraddha, Tato Sadhu Sangha. Then Bhajana Kriya. Kriya means to act in that relationship. So that happens when we are actually initiated. So if I am hearing and my Shraddha is improving, but I am not taking initiation, that means I am not saying Karishye Vachanam Tava. That means I am not improving beyond that point. Then it's all useless. I am just talking big, but I am not coming to the point of acting or surrendering to Kṛṣṇa. Acting for Kṛṣṇa only, as Kṛṣṇa directs, as the Guru directs, as the devotees direct. If I'm not coming to that point, then I'm not advancing further. So, initiated by bona fide spiritual master is Ado Shraddha, when we hear, what is that? Sthane Sthita Shrutigatam. But after that, what happens? Tanu Vak Manobhir. We hear first, but then after that, the body, the mind, and the words become involved in serving Kṛṣṇa. That hearing should lead us to that. Then that is proper initiation. That is the completion of the initiation process. Completion of the initiation means, oh, now I'm complete. No. That is the completion of the initiation process. Then I have to actually now engage in the full-fledged devotional service. You see? Otherwise, all one's devotional practice is useless. So this is how we should understand. Yes, there is this verse. Sorry. Adikshitasya vamoru. Adikshitasya, Vishnu Yamala. Adikshitasya vamoru kritam sarvam nirarthakam pashuyonimava apnoti diksha virahito janah. Unless one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, all his devotional activities are useless. A person who is not properly initiated can descend again into the animal species. Well, this can also happen to initiated devotees. Bharat Maharaj is a prime example, right? he was initiated by Rishabdev himself, God himself. He went into animal species. So this can happen at any time, but especially so. But such animal fall down is not exactly animal species, because he next life again became a pure devotee and went back. So that was like a, you know, reality check, and then a very strong lesson so that he will not fall into Maya again. So it was a different, it looks like animal species, but again it was a corrective measure taken by the Lord. But Pashuyoni Mamapnoti. So unless one is, taken, one takes Diksha, all these things are useless, in the sense that, I mean, where is it heading to then? It has to lead to that. So actually initiation starts from the hearing itself. But the formal initiation has to happen, because that is the devotees. Because in the hearing, what happens is the spiritual master has started his duty, or he is always doing his duty. But in the matter of this particular devotee's life, disciple's life, he has started instructing him already. So, spiritual master is doing his part. But is the devotee or the disciple agreeable to do his part now? Okay, now I'll surrender. I'll do whatever you say. Disciple, I am agreeing to be disciplined. That is a disciple. So that surrender is the Diksha ceremony. And it's not just a ceremony, it has to come from the heart. How seriously we take that ceremony, that much how it is effective in the life of a devotee. Because there is a whole article by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I think I read that. I did a class on that. Initiation into spiritual life. That is the title of the article. That he says that Diksha is not the same for everyone. It does not have the same effect on everyone. It depends on the attitude of the disciple, how seriously he takes to it. That's how much it will have effect on him. So, Hare Krishna League is asking, one becomes a neophyte only when he is formally initiated. Before that, what is one's position? Is he considered devotee, or is there also a devotee stage lower than a neophyte? Well, he's still considered class of the, I mean, neophyte class, but in the beginning stages, there are, you know, many stages of advancement, even in the neophyte also. In fact, in Madhurya Kadambini, there is, a description of 81 different stages of devotional. Now we know three: third class, second class, first class. 81 stages. So mixture of these things, a little bit of this, little bit of that, like that. So, and by the influence of the three modes, Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, and even then also there is, mixture of Sattvic, Tamasic, Rajasic, Tamasic, uh, Sattvic and Rajasic. In this way, so many permutations and combinations. But in the broad category, is still considered neophyte, materialistic, but has some faith, but has not, is not, in a very mature stage yet. He's called as actually Bhakta Praya, means almost a devotee. Prakrita Bhakta, this is actually the third class devotee. Archayam, it is actually from the Srimad Bhagavatam 11:247. अर्चायामेव हरये पूजां यः श्रद्धये हतेन तद्भक्तेषु चान्येषु सबक्तः प्राकृतः स्मृतः. That same Bhagavatam verse is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.74. Prakrita Bhakta or materialistic devotee does not purposefully study the Shastra. So he does not, intentionally study the Shastra. And he does not purposefully study the Shastra and try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service. Consequently, he does not show proper respect to advanced devotees. He may, however, follow the regulatory principles learned from his spiritual master or from his family who worships the deity. He is to be considered on the material platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is a Bhakta Praya, neophyte devotee, or Bhakta Abhas. It means a reflection of a devotee. Almost a devotee, not exactly a devotee yet. Praya means almost. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. That means all the dirty things in the heart are almost completely destroyed. Not completely, almost. Praya means that. So bhakta praya or bhakta abhas. Abhas means a shadow or reflection. A reflection or a shadow of a devotee. Not yet a devotee yet. For he is a little enlightened by Vaishnava philosophy. So that is his position. Pious, you know, Sukritin Arjuna. Arto Artharthi Jignasu Jnani. This is Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam Janaha Sukritin Arjuna. They may be called pious, Bhakta Praya, Bhakta Abhas. These kind of words are used. Okay, next. What is this? Akarsh Kinagi. Prabhu, after initiation, is relationship between guru and disciple eternal? Yes. If yes, then will we be taking initiation from that guru in every birth again and again till we go back to Godhead? So guru is a principle which is eternal. Any guru will teach the same thing. Real guru will teach the same thing, Vaishnava philosophy. So guru may come in different ways and forms and different expansions, but it's the same thing he is teaching. So sometimes the same person, actually, the guru, will come and initiate again and again and again. Sometimes it may be another person, but that person is non-different from another spiritual master because it's the same thing. Now, what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur taught and what Prabhupada taught is not different. So the principle of guru is always the same. Now, whether that same person comes, well, Prabhupada says, don't make me come again and again. So there it is clear that Prabhupada will personally come. Sometimes Prabhupada may come in a, like a guru may come in a, like if another person comes. Now Prabhupada himself, for example, is a representation of Narad Muni. What Narad Muni would have taught and what Prabhupada is teaching is the same thing. So the principle of guru doesn't change at all. But even that personality of the guru, he takes charge in every single life he will come. In one way or another, he will again bring him back to Godhead. So sometimes he may, employ this way, sometimes another way. For example, we in this Ritvik system are taking initiation from Prabhupada, and our relationship to Prabhupada is there. But we are being instructed by a Siksha Guru. Who is, what is his position? He is a representative of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada instructs us through him. So our relationship is with Prabhupada through his representatives as well. So that is non-different from our relationship to Prabhupada. Our relationship with the Siksha Gurus is non-different to our relationship with Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is still guiding us. Not that he only guided us, at one point, when he was there, and now he's not guiding. He's still guiding. Through his books also he's guiding. And through his devotees also he's guiding. So, so he may do either way. He may come again or he may send someone to guide us either way. How he is doing, not for me to comment on, not for me to even speculate on. But like Prabhupada is even now doing it. He has employed Ritviks, he has employed the temples, GBC system and everything so that his teachings, his guidance will still be there through his representatives. So, eternal means at all times, not only this lifetime, next lifetime, initiation, only initiation is the relationship. Eternal means at all times, at every single step, every single microsecond, nanosecond of our way, of our life. Eternal. So, right now, we are getting instructions from our temple authority or some, if you're not in any temple, then whoever is guiding you. So, if we connect ourselves with devotees who are strictly following Prabhupada, then we will get also the direct connection with Prabhupada. And of course, when we have direct access to his books now. So that is also direct connection. So in multiple ways, Prabhupada is guiding us eternally. But he may do it in different ways. Sai Karti, Prabhu, when will the video exposing Sai Baba and Vivekananda come? I want to share those videos to my family members. Yeah. So now, I'm definitely working on some other video now. Once that video is done, and we will come definitely to all this. You should expect it sometime early next year. Vivekananda, at least there is one video where I went through Manusmriti, and you can share that first. But a full exposure has to come out. We will do that next year. By Krishna willing, we are hoping to do a lot more of those videos. If disciple, not decibel is something else. If disciple disobeys the guru, at what point is the contract cut between the devotee and the guru? Immediately or after disciple doing it over and over again, or this relationship forever? Well, the contract is when I fulfill the terms of the contract, and if I do fail, the guru may be kind enough to excuse me few times, but not every single time. He's not entitled to at least forgive or you know consider my mistake every single time. But out of mercy, he may. But the question is, I feel a little wrongly framed in the sense that there's nothing wrong with you, but to approach the problem in that way. If the disciple keeps disobeying the guru regularly, is the relationship cut, or right at the start, or when? So I should not worry about whether the guru will leave me or not. I should be more worried about whether I will leave the guru or not. So I should be more worried about that. The guru may be infinitely merciful. That does not mean that he will accept our stupid nonsense every time, again and again. Just like marriage, for example, it is supposed to last a lifetime, or at least until sannyas. Even if there are ups and downs, upheavals, or whatever, that relationship has to be maintained. That is the vow. That is the tapasya. That I should not break this and engage in illicit relations. So, however suffering I am going through, whatever it is Krishna's this thing, and I should stay within these limits. That's the vow. That's the vow. In the relationship of guru and disciple, it is even more. It is eternal. That means I should be eternally honoring that relationship. It's not whether the guru will eternally accept me, whether I do whatever rubbish nonsense I do. It's whether I am prepared to eternally honor the guru, eternally serve him, whether I am prepared to do that. Of course, we are never prepared. Prepared means I am completely capable of doing that. We can never be. But that attitude of submission, of eternal, whatever it is, I cannot leave my guru. So it should come from my end. Because the guru is always fulfilling his terms of the contract. The only problem is coming from our side. If the guru is fallen, then that is a whole different thing. That's a whole. Nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going back to Godhead like that. But we're talking about the proper relationship of a guru and disciple. The guru, who is a pure devotee, will unfailingly fulfill his terms of the contract, which is to always guide the devotee. But provided the disciple is agreeable to take such guidance. Otherwise, it's like sowing seed in a barren land, or trying to impregnate a woman who is barren. She will never produce. So, like that, it becomes like that. So, the spiritual master is giving the Guru Krishna Prasada Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The bij, or the seed of devotion, is given by the Guru. Now, I have to have a fertile soil, and I should also regularly water it in order to see the fructification of it. Otherwise, just having the seed is not enough. So when I am willing to take up the gardening of the seed, that's when the initiation happens, and I have to regularly do that, and I will have the ultimate result of going back to Krishna and having love of Godhead. That is the fruit. So the contract is cut when I stop watering. So the seed will lie there, but at the slightest opportunity, if there is rain in the desert, there will be plants. From where are they coming? That means some seed somewhere is there somewhere, but because of no rain, it just did not fructify. When the chance comes again, then it will again start. You will see vegetation even in the desert. You know. So like that. So if our heart is arid, arid means like arid desert, like complete. So then it will, the fructification, the seed is there. Guru gave the seed, but it did not fructify. It just remained in the desert of our heart. And in one lifetime where we start again Shravanam somewhere, oh, then that seed is again. Actually, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhyaka Bhunoy, Shravanadu Shuddha Chitte Koroy Udoy. This Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. Krishna Prema is actually eternally dormant in our heart. And the Guru reminds us of that. And then when I actually Shravanadu Shuddha Chitte Koroy Udoy, when I engage in Shravan Kirtan, then it is watered. That seed is watered, and then the plant grows, and then luxuriantly it grows in abundance of Shravan and Kirtan. But if that's not there, then the plant will shrivel up and then dry out. So it's basically, when is the contract cut? I mean, it's within my hands. I mean, if I want to do it, if I do it, it's just there. If it's not, it's temporarily cut until again the circumstances start when I start doing it again, and then it starts again. All right. Thanks for elaborating on protection. I thought devotees wear kavachas for protection of the body. Unfortunately, sometimes devotees even don't get the thing actually. What is Krishna actually protecting, and what protection should we actually seek? They wear because ghosts I should not get or something like that. Yeah, this is there. I mean, that is part of the thing, but it's not the real thing. Far from the real thing. The ghost is Maya. What is that? পিশাচি পাইলে যেন মাতিচ্ছন্ন হয় মায়াগ্রস্ত জীবের হয় সেই ভাব উদয়. The real ghost is Maya. To protection from that ghost is what we should take. Protection of Narsimha. Seek protection of Narsimhadev. Alright, so Vedavyas, the great sage, is asking, if someone did offense towards Prabhupada and Prabhupada left him, can he somehow ask forgiveness and continue bhakti? Would Prabhupada forgive him? Yes. Prabhupada is unlimitedly merciful. He will forgive him. Repentance. It's basically, Krishna also is the same. We have left him. We have left him. But because, we are, he's forgiving us again. Krishna is forgiving us, and that's why he's accepting us again back into his devotional service. For millions and trillions of years, we have been away, offended him, innumerable offenses. Still, he's kind enough to accept us again. So, a devotee is even more merciful than Krishna. So, he will definitely forgive, provided we really repent and come back to our senses and serve him again. But it's not good to even do that, right? Somebody who has saved us from, such unimaginable trouble. We can't even imagine how much trouble he is saving us from. Somebody who helps us in a little, suppose we are hungry, or if we just want to make a call and our phone battery died, and we just ask a stranger on the, I really have to, inform my family that I'm here, otherwise they are in anxiety, they don't know where I am. If somebody just lends a phone and I just call them and go, mother, I'm here, something like that, and then give it, hey, thank you very much, something, or I have to call the hospital or something. So if somebody relieves of even of that little bit anxiety, we thank them. Now, a guru saves us from such unimaginable anxiety and suffering and pain that we cannot even measure the help that the guru is actually giving us. So, to even leave him or to think of doing that is a is the work or is the thought of an absolutely ungrateful rascal. So, we should approach our relationship with the guru extremely cautiously, and we should, that is exactly why we are chanting the Guru Ashtaka every morning, Guru Puja, the Guru Vandana song every morning, so that we always remind ourselves how much the devotee, I mean the guru, has saved us. What is that? um, Jahara prasade bhai ei bhava toriya jai, Krishna prapti hoy jahan hoite. So Jahara prasade bhai, ei bhava toriya jai. Every morning, Guru Vandana we are singing. By the mercy of the Guru, we are able to cross this ocean of material existence. It's an ocean. We don't think sometimes how big is the ocean. The Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. If we fall in the Atlantic Ocean, how are we going to save ourselves? This material ocean is way bigger than that. Infinitely bigger than that. And he's saving a bhava toriya jai. We are able to cross the ocean of this material existence. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. How? Jahara prasade bhai. By the mercy of the Guru, we are able to do this. So these songs are to constantly remind us how much we are being saved, so that we approach our relationship with extreme caution. How can I give up on my principles that I've promised to follow at the time of initiation? How? How can I give up? Where is my gratitude? To the one who has saved me. Chakshudan diloje janme janme prabhushe. Who has given me eyes? I was blind. Who's given me eyes? Janme janme prabhushe. Life after life is my master. And then if I just not serve him even in this one life and then break the principles and go away from him, where is my gratitude? Where did I understand of the gravity of this movement, gravity of the help that the Guru has given? So that's why these songs are there, to root ourselves back to how much we are being saved by the Guru. Guru Ashtaka in the morning, Guru Vandana and then Dhyayans Tuvams Tasya Yashastri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Trisandhyam means during the three Sandhya, the ordinary smartas, they will do Sandhya Vandana. But Vaishnavas, there's Trisandhyam Dhyayans Tuvams. I remember you and glorify you in all the three Sandhyas, and not only three Sandhyas, every single. In fact, Ekeha Kurunandana, Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana. Our only thought throughout our day should be how to execute the order of my spiritual master. Eka Manasa. What is that? Ekena Manasa. Single pointed attention to how to execute the order of my spiritual master. That's it. That should be our only thought. Constant thought. Leaving him is just we cannot even speak about it. It's not even whatever it is. Our prayer should be, no matter how difficult circumstances I am in, please pray, please save me from leaving the association of devotees and leaving the instructions of your divine grace. That should be my prayer. If one goes on in that attitude, then yes, one's position is safe. Otherwise, if for a moment we forget, then we are running the risk of, going away and something. So we should not be worried about how much Prabhupada, how much shall we test his forgiveness, how much he can forgive. Let me do as much offense as possible and let's see how much Prabhupada is merciful. That should not be our, endeavor. How much, whether I completely leave, will Prabhupada still forgive me? How merciful he is? Is he really infinitely merciful? No. How much am I willing to be a disciple. That is the more. That's why there is Guru. There are 4 kinds of disciples, or 5. 4. Guru Bhogi, Guru Tyagi, Guru, what is that? Drohi, and finally Guru Sevi. 4 kinds of disciples will be there. One is Guru Bhogi, one who enjoys the property of a spiritual master. Oh, I'm in a nice temple, comfortable, sleep, do whatever I want, and not engage in the actual field work of preaching. Guru Bhogi. Guru Tyagi, one who relinquishes his guru and does whatever he wants. And Guru Drohi, who is what is that called? Drohi, traitor, who is a traitor to his guru, who acts like he is in the mission of the guru, but actually he is doing the opposite, who is bringing harm to the mission of the guru. Guru Drohi. And finally, there is Guru Sevi, who just serves the guru. So, the 4 kinds of disciples. 3 of them are not disciples, they are in the garb of disciples, rascals in the garb of disciples. The 4th one, that is the only disciple. Only he is the disciple. So, we have to be Guru Sevi. Debale. When there is a creation, there is creator. This is one of the evidence of God, Kṛṣṇa. Just like this. Is there any logic? I don't know what you're asking. Thanks for explaining 108042. It shows how important learning shlokas is or reading books. I mean, I would never thought of becoming tasteless in devotional service due to disobedience of the Guru. Yeah. So we should study carefully. Shrinvan Supathan Vicharana Paro. Is it good to study material education while doing bhakti? Yeah, if you want to light a fire and pour water on it and waste your time, you can. Because it is useless. Honestly, there are too many material people who are studying material education, and let them become the Sudras. Why? We have unlimited vacancy for Brahmanas and nobody taking up. Join here. Join here. We need full-time devotees. I just came from India. Everywhere there is immense opportunity to preach. Immense opportunity. We have no men. We have no devotees to handle those projects. We need devotees. Don't hope that the world will change. No. We have to serve the mission. If we don't want, then why will Krishna want to even change anything? Let them rot, rascals. If the devotee makes some effort, oh, Krishna sees, okay, he's trying to serve me and preach. Okay. It's like, you see, why Krishna becomes inclined to save the conditioned souls only when a devotee takes compassion upon them. Devarshirme priyatamo yadimo dhanadatmajo tattatha sadhayishyami yadgitam tan mahatmana. Krishna told that, the 2 trees he fell, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, sons of Kuvera. When he saw them, this is what he thought. Although these 2 young men are the sons of the very rich Kuvera and I have nothing to do with them, Devarshi Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee. And therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance. So Krishna is interested in our deliverance because Prabhupada wanted that, please take compassion upon them. And because of his recommendation, Krishna has decided to look at us. Otherwise, he just like here, he has nothing to do with us, Krishna. We are so much traitor, idiot, rascals, so much offended him. He has actually no reason to be with us or look at us even. Unworthy. But because a devotee has taken interest out of compassion, oh, okay, I will deliver them. So similarly, if devotees, if we are devotees, of course we're not great devotees, but carrying the order of Prabhupada, if we want to see that the whole world become devotees, on the strength of Prabhupada's order, Krishna will take interest. And then there will be change, and then there will be, of course, Krishna's mission will go on. If not us, somebody else will take, but then he will get the, opportunity to serve. Of course, everybody should get the opportunity. But why not me? Why am I losing out on the opportunity to serve? So why do you want to do this material education, get yourself depressed, and then come to Krishna consciousness, get yourself enthused a bit, only to get yourself depressed again in the material education, and then how much are you going to do this hopping around and jumping like a monkey? At one point, you just have to give it up. Give up that nonsense and then join full time, and then become devotee, and then start preaching, and then join as a full time devotee, become responsible, advance, and then lead projects, lead temples, start temple and preach to others, and then make more devotees. This is what ours is. Goshthanandi Sampradaya. We get pleasure when there are more and more devotees. There are bhajanandis who are just satisfied with themselves serving the Lord. There is another thing. But ours is Goshthananda. Means as much as the devotee community increases, that much we will be happy. Proper devotees. So especially because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered us like that. Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna Upadesh. So we should always think of how to preach, how to preach. And preach means not just, okay, how will I just tell him one thing? No, no, no. Massive scale, at scale. Tell, and then not just tell. How to sustain that preaching, how to keep contact with the person, how to. That's what we did when we went to India this time. We did some university preaching programs. It was not a hit and run program. Wherever we went, we collected all the contacts. We put them in the group so that we can follow up with them. We can, share with them our content, our videos, our classes like this, like that, to and have some monthly Q&A sessions with them, something like that, to involve them more and more. And the more serious ones, they will take up more responsible services. In this way, we have to think of how to sustain the preaching and sustain the growth of everyone. This is compassion, to help others. So if we are interested in that, then Krishna also will show interest. Oh, okay, then something will happen. So in this way, we have to serve. So think about that. Don't try this balancing act, and don't forget this balance. Go in the complete imbalance way. Then life will have balance. It's like, because I'm of my attachment, I want to do this. Of course, man, now maybe you're a student, but think of giving it up. Not wait. Make plans and take the devotee's guidance how to give that up and join. Immerse yourself. Join and then become a soldier in this army against Maya. That's what we should become. That's what we should sign up for. Don't have this half-hearted, half one leg here, one leg there kind of devotional service. Don't fall for that. That's a trap of Maya. Makes you an illusion, keeps you in an illusion of becoming a devotee, but actually you're a complete materialist, just bogged down by the material world every single time. Prakriti sthane karshati, struggling in the material world. That's all we are. Give that up and then join full time. Okay, if somebody already in the family life and already has a family, okay, fine, you do the balancing act and fine, and eventually you also become strengthened and then become full time. Takes some time maybe, but those who are students and all, please, enough of this nonsense, propaganda, education, whatever. Take up a devotional service, join the army. We have a huge war to fight, and we need as many soldiers and commanders of the army as possible. So please join the army. Don't waste your lives. Yeah, material school is a slaughterhouse of the soul, and we will take it out. The whole system of education is geared sense gratification, and if a learned man thinks it over, he sees that the children of this age are being intentionally sent to the slaughterhouses of so called education. Learned men therefore must be cautious of this age, and if they at all want to cross over the dangerous ocean of Kali, they must follow the footsteps of the sages of Naimisharanya, or his bona fide representative as the captain of the ship. So that means we have to surrender to Prabhupada. Okay? Thank you for the explanation of initiation. Very humbling and enlightening. Sorry for ignorant question, but what if, like Jayapata Goswami asked forgiveness after disobeying Prabhupada for 40 plus years? Kṛṣṇa and Prabhupada will still forgive him? Yes. If he now today says that, you know what, I shouldn't have done this, um, devotees died because of this kind of this thing. Even under him, the brahmachari, he committed suicide because of him. Um, but anyway, even if now he says that, you know what, actually Prabhupada is the guru, all of you who are thinking I am your guru and you're my disciple, actually Prabhupada is your guru. Please stop chanting my, Pranati mantra and all this. This is all nonsense. You chant Prabhupada's Pranati mantra, and that's what everybody should be doing. Prabhupada never appointed any gurus. I'm supposed to be only Ritvik. I just done so much offenses. If he says like this, if he repents sincerely, definitely he'll be forgiven. And even we will respect him. Everybody will respect. Definitely. We give many logic when there is creation, so there is a creator to prove the existence of Bhagavan. So is there any kind of logic which prove the existence of Bhagavan within one snap? Everything, Arey yaar. How can you, okay, deny the creator for a second? Okay, there is nobody who created. Then how did everything came about? Scientists talk about laws of gravity, laws of physics, laws of mathematics. Where is the law? Okay, who created the law? Who's the lawmaker? For a simple minded person, even a flower will remind him of God. Like if you see a good painting, you will say, who's the artist? Immediately. So the world is very nicely painted. Who's the artist of that? It's a continuous painting. Every season it looks different. So who's painting all of that? Yeah, you may say laws of nature, this thing, that thing. Yeah, that is the paintbrush of the Lord, my dear. The paintbrush of the Lord doesn't look like your paintbrush. The paintbrush of the Lord looks like the seasons and all these things. All these things. He just does it differently than you and me. But it's his paintbrush. He is drawing. He's art. He's an artist, and he's the engineer. He is the everything. The smallest flower will remind one of God for the simple-minded, but for the crooked-minded, even the entire cosmic arrangement will not convince him of God. So it depends on the piety of the person whether he can be convinced of God or not. It's not whether how good I can describe. I can always describe however good, but if that person is just envious, he will not. Naham prakasha sarvasya. Krishna says, I remain covered. I choose not to disclose myself to such a person. So when Krishna chooses not to disclose, you can do nothing to reveal to him. So, but our is there. Our attempts should be there. But we should choose after that whether he's really innocent and he's willing to take the information, or he's just like envious and just wanting to kind of argue and then become more offensive. Then, if he's offensive, then we have to just we don't waste our time with him. Go to the next person whom we can help. Okay. Debale, Prabhu, I want to join Ice Cream Pondicherry full time. Please give your some precious advice which can help me to become a good devotee. Well, just do it. Nike. Just do it. That's it. That's the advice. Only thing, when in the company of devotees, we should be very careful. We should be very cautious. You know, we should be always self-introspective, because when we go closer to the devotees, then we may even find fault with the devotees, because we have been finding faults with the material world. That tendency we may employ with devotees. So we should be humble. Humility will anchor us. in Krishna consciousness. Humility is the anchor. Once that goes, then we will not be anchored. We will be thrown about. So we should be anchored. So Kirtaniya Sadahari will happen only if Trinadapi Sunichena happens. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. This verse is the advice that everyone should take. Only then we will be allowed to stay in the association of devotees. Sometimes the people think, oh, you know what, these devotees, I don't want to be with them. I just want to go somewhere else. Of course, there are some not proper devotees, that's another thing. But when there is a proper Sangha, or at least those, I mean, nobody is perfect, but who are sincere about perfection, and if I think that I am going to leave this association, it's not me leaving the association. Krishna is kicking us out. Krishna, mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. He will give us a knowledge, forgetfulness, and remembrance. So when we become not humble, then Krishna will kick us out by convincing us that we don't need the devotee association. Actually, in reality, we don't deserve the devotee association. And that's why we leave. So, Trinadapi Sunichana, that third verse of Shikshashtaka is the advice for you, me, and everyone. How to become a millionaire quickly? Please respond. He's in a hurry to become a millionaire. You can become Crorepati. You know how? By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I won't eat. When he was being invited by so many people in Jagannath Puri, he said, I will only eat at the house of a Lakshapati. One who is a Lakshapati. That means Laksha means 100,000. Everybody was like, wow, we don't have that much money. How can we invite? And they were also wondering why Sannyasi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to eat in Lakshapati's house. Why he is attached to this wealth and all. People were like confused and disappointed that they cannot invite him at the same time. So then he clarified. What is it, Lakshapati? One who chants 1 lakh names of Krishna every day. Now, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, 16 names. 1 lakh times means 64 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If one chants every day, that person's house I will only come. It means, then they became very happy. Okay, then everybody started chanting 64 rounds. Of course, Prabhupada, we are not Lakshapati, we are useless fellows. So Prabhupada said, 16 rounds at least you chant, you rascal. So we have to chant 16 rounds. So chant how much, actually there is a beautiful verse in Padhyavali. Just like the let me see if I can find that verse. Just like the materialist counts the money he has, let me count the names I may chant. Like this. How to even search for it? If I know the verse number in Padhyavali, I can search. Yes, this is verse. Hari Bol, we found it. Vicheyani, Vicharyani, Vichintyani, Punah Punah, Kripanasya Dhananiva, Tvannamani Bhavantu Naha. O Lord, just as a miser continually collects, counts, and remembers his money, in the same way let us continually collect, count, and remember your holy names. Become a millionaire by chanting millions of times the holy name of Krishna, then you'll become very quickly millionaire. This is my response to you because you asked me to please respond. So this is my response. Quickly, you'll become millionaire. Okay? By reading Prabhupada books, it's common sense we are servants of God and full stop. No more Maya consciousness. Yeah. That's why we should read every day. 7:10:9. When a human being is able to give up all material desires in his mind, he becomes eligible to possess wealth and opulence like yours. Yeah, that's a good one. In fact, there is one of the liberation, five types of liberation is sarshti. Sarshti means to have the same opulence as the Lord. So that is easily achieved if one is a devotee of Krishna. So become a devotee of Krishna. See how rich Prabhupada became by becoming a devotee of Krishna. So many 108 temples he had. So have that kind of riches and use it in Krishna's service. That is the richest person. All right. So that is the end of our session. Thank you very much. जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण. What? Some more questions. What is this? Please stop asking questions now. Jnana can't help us to fight against Maya, only Bhakti can, but unfortunately we don't have Bhakti, we can only chant and listen and serve. Is there anything else? Yeah, that's how you will get Jnana automatically. What is that? Vasudeve Bhagavate Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayada Hetukam. That's the 127 Bhagavatam. How do materialistics how to do materialistic study and defeat the competition? Don't ask stupid questions there. You're already lost. Alright, I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.